Hey everybody, welcome to, I don't know, the week in November that moved home. My name is Rich Silvestrini. I'm your host of Movies, Music, and Mayhem. Thank you so much for coming back. We're going to have a fun show today. A lot of you know that I'm very musical, not in talent, but in appreciation. And so my guest is very musically talented and appreciative, I guess. But yeah, so everybody, welcome the great Andy Merryweather.
What an
So
introduction.
excited.
Thank you so much.
I'm so excited to have you here. Guys, if you don't know, it is 1:30 a.m. in Andy's time. So
Yeah.
we might have to cut this short because, it's going to be a little late for him. But we'll go until we can't go anymore.
Yeah,
because
no,
that's what we do
I'm all
here.
good. It's
Okay,
1:30 a.m. in the weirdest year where I can't even keep track of what month it is. It doesn't matter what time it is. So yeah, we're all fine. Nothing makes sense this year.
Yeah, right about this time of the month, like I know what month it is, and then I forget a week later, and then it changes like 3 days later, and then I'm fucked again. So for like 6 days, I know what month it is.
Great, that's good.
Yeah, 6
that's
days.
Better than I do.
Yeah.
So
okay, great. I just wanted to check on the feed because, guys, if you're watching and something happens to the feed, please throw a comment in the section because apparently YouTube's been having a hissy fit. We don't want to deal with that. So if anything happens, let me know. We'll do the best we can to help fix it. But Andy, you and I met almost. We were discussing this before the show. You and I met almost 2 years ago.
Yeah, crazy.
And it feels like another lifetime ago, as well as yesterday, at the same time.
That's right. Yeah, we met at Top 10 Live in London. You came over to my neck of the woods, and we had a really brief chat right at the end of the show. I think very, very brief, but it was enough for us to actually end up meeting up 2 months later when I was in Chicago. So we kind of did a yin and yang thing.
Yeah, because you said that you were going to pop over for a celebration.
That's right.
And I got really excited because that was my birthday weekend, and I was like, "Yay! My friends from England are coming." That was so much fun. Yeah, that whole trip to London was just a blast, and that show was so much fun. I really hope that we get to do another trip over there. I hope the Showdown gets to go out there because that would be
great.
Epic. Yes, Ferris, calm down. You'll be getting some Billy Joel later, okay? Like, it's not a jukebox. We're going to do the interview first, and then we'll do some songs. We're going to play a little game called Is Rachel Too Drunk to Remember This Song? And it'll be fun. So, yeah. But how did you hear about Top 10 then? Because was it through just the podcast, or was it through Showdown, or...
Yeah, I was watching Schmoes Know when Christian brought John and Matt on to kind of meet and see what their chemistry was like, and I kind of watched them become something. So yeah, I was right in from the ground up on the Top 10. Yeah, what a weird full circle that has been, considering now I host a show with Nost himself. But yeah, I basically had been watching them all along. I still have a T-shirt, I think, a Top 10 T-shirt that I refuse to wear now that I know the guy. But yeah, back when I was a fan, I did buy some merch.
If I had that limit of not wearing a T-shirt of somebody that I knew, I would literally not be able to wear any of my shirts because they're all bands or like tours or Broadway shows. But like, Ryan, we have talked about this. We'll figure it out.
You should definitely be on Settle the Score. Yeah.
I mean, 100%. All I need is a date and a time, and I'm there.
And an opponent. You need someone that could match you.
Oh, that's true. We'll have to figure, and we can figure that out. But yeah, it will for sure happen. Yeah, because there's nothing I love more than being competitive, even if I'm bad at it. Like the Showdown. But okay, so then you got into the Schmodown, and then so you were watching Schmoes Know. So you've been a Schmodown fan since like the beginning, then, right?
Yeah. Right from the beginning, probably. I don't remember missing anything, to be honest. If when they do those kind of legacy clips, like I'm always aware of them. But I don't think I've missed an episode of. Definitely haven't missed an episode of the Schmodown, and yeah, those early days, I was watching everything they had to offer. And now there's so much content that it's hard to keep up with everyone that I love. Right, everyone's got their own thing. It's really difficult to. You have to sort of prioritize or share your love, But I did. I watched everything Mark and Christian had, and it's going to be, bringing it around full circle again. It's going to be bananas because I just heard that. I don't know if I should reveal this. Well, I guess Mark Riley and Christian Harloff are going head to head on the Settle the Score in a couple of weeks' time, and that's the craziest one since Matt messaged me asking if I wanted to host a show together. Having Christian on is gonna, I'm gonna have to let him know that I've been following him for, all the way back in my formative years to now being bearded. So yeah.
So pre-beard to current beard.
Yeah,
sure. That'll be so much fun, guys. You heard it here first.
Maybe inappropriately. But...
who
knows?
The amount of inappropriate things I've said to people, like you could fill volumes of. But yeah, so when did you start making music and like start playing and stuff? Because a lot of people I know started like either super young or like picked it up to like in their teen years to impress a girl.
Oh, I see. Well, I was too young to want to impress a girl. I actually don't remember starting. It was so my piano playing predates my memory making. So it must have been super young. I know lots of members of my family play. We were a bit of a musical family. But yeah, I really don't remember that first messing around playing Piano Man on the keyboard or something like that. When I think about it, I should be better than I am considering how long it's been. But, I've been playing a long time. And then I didn't ever want to... I went to lessons early, like you do, like your parents send you along. But I gave that up really quickly. I didn't enjoy it being a chore. And then I taught myself. So now... At the moment, I'm at the stage where I basically have the party trick of being able to play any song as long as I can hear it in my head or listen to it for a second. I should be able to play it. But I actually can't read music at all. I don't read or write music at all. Everything is done kind of naturally. It's the laziest way. People say it's a good thing. I don't know about that. I think it's a laziness, but I would like to have the ability to do both, right? I can play from any sheet, but also play by ear. But I think people are either one or the other. You don't get some geniuses in the world can do both, but yeah, it's pick a lane. So yeah, I play everything by ear. Stopped reading music when I was 5, I think. So it must have been so young, 3 or 4, I'd imagine. To go back to your question, and you don't play anything.
I could never. No. I mean, I can play a mean tambourine, or like I can keep a beat. I remember one year on Warped Tour, they had Rock Band was a sponsor, and so they would have like they had like a 30 by 90 foot setup in the festival grounds every day, and there was like 9 or 10 like massive TVs with like an entire set. So there was like a TV, a drum kit, a guitar, a bass, and like a mic set up 10 places around the tent. Whoa. And I remember before we started the day, like before the gates would open and like the flood of people would come in, a friend of mine and I decided that we were going to master a song by the end of the tour.
Right. Yeah.
And so we started. I played the drums and he played the guitar, and we were playing Sick Transit. Wait, no, it was a Coheed and Cambria song. My memory is failing me because it was so long ago, and my memory sucks. But we played this every day, and then one day, Claudio, the lead singer of the band, was walking by, And we were like halfway through the tour, so we were getting pretty cocky and pretty good. So he like stopped to watch us and then like jumped in on vocals, but I couldn't see anything because like the drums were facing the TV, and then like the guitars were behind and the vocals were behind, like directly behind me.
Right.
So I'm just playing, watching this, and like kind of seeing my friend play guitar out of the corner of my eye. And the next thing I know, I literally hear Claudio's voice right behind me. Scared me so much. I like jumped up, like turned over the drums.
Funny.
But no, I can't play anything. I mean, I'll sit at a piano. I'll sit at a piano and like I figured out the sound or the theme song for Sesame Street, and so I can play that with one hand. But I can never play like the two hands. Like I can heart and soul the fuck out of that, but
one-handed.
I can't play.
Yeah,
I'll book your gigs. I'll make sure you get paid, but I can't be on stage.
Oh, that's fair. That's talent in itself, being so organized. But yeah, I think piano is probably the easiest one. If I say it like that, yeah, I guess because there's no technique involved really in that. You know, you hit a note, it plays a sound. There's no, I mean, you could spend 2 days blowing raspberries into a clarinet and not making any notes. You know, this thing does play at least back to you once you hit it. So I do think it's the easiest one to pick up and go. And I hope when I used to be a musician and be on tour, I'd have a lot of the guy that I was playing piano for. He had an older audience that kind of grew with him, and they ended up having kids by the time he was on the tour that I was on. The fans of his had small children, so they kind of started in his 20s. They came up 30s and 40s. Now they've got kids, and I would get a lot of questions about when did I start. Really? So I would get a lot of questions about when did I start playing, and I could tell it was always that you know, they've got like a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old with them. You know, this is the guy that I love. You know, not me, but like the artist.
Yeah.
So they brought their kid with them, and I would always basically my goal was if I can inspire one future piano player that will be better than me, then that would be excellent. So I used to, throughout this tour that I was on, and in life generally, if people ask me that question and it's because they've got a kid with them, I always go to the kid. I say, "How old are you?" before I answer, and then they say 6. I go, "I started when I was 6," because then they go, "Oh my god, he started when he was," you know, and I just saw him on stage, you know, that kind of thing. And hopefully, then I get, you know, I have it with my little cousins. We've got this huge family, and my little cousins look up to me playing. I look up to their dad playing, and you just want that moment where they leapfrog you, that you realize they're better than you. That's my kind of goal, I suppose, is to be good enough to inspire someone to be better than me would be excellent.
That's so wholesome. I don't think we've ever had anything that wholesome on the show.
Oh no,
before.
Should I just swear? Should I balance it?
No.
Fuck.
No, it's so sweet. Even that was wholesome. How the hell
was
did
that
you do
too
that?
nice?
No, I have no idea how that happened. Well, what did you start playing? Like I know a lot of people like who pick up guitar or piano like switch back and forth pretty easily. They claim that it's easy to switch between the two. I have no idea. But did you start? Have you like started playing with guitar or like any other instruments since you like started playing the piano?
No, very theoretically, I can play other instruments. It was a playing with musicians that are like me, that don't have the theory. You'd have, you know, I used to play with a guitarist, a singer-songwriter, who, if his voice was feeling a bit, I was going to say shoddy, but I don't think shoddy translates to American, like rough.
It does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If his voice was feeling rough that day, he would just change the key. And for a guitar player, that just means putting the capo up or down, depending on how he wanted his voice to sit on stage. And so I had to learn guitar chord shapes by sight to be able to play along with him. And then when he changed key, it was a case of being able to like catch that in my ear. And, you know, I might have to change key on the spot on the piano. So things like that kind of pressure really gets you good at recognizing what other instruments are capable of. And so theoretically, I know every guitar chord, but hand me a guitar and it will sound dreadful. Drums is similar. I know exactly what the drum kit's doing. When I listen to a piece of music, it's almost torture because I can replicate it. I could go into a studio and replicate a song. Listening to music for me is an awful situation. It's really interesting that's the case, because I hear what the bass is doing, what all the parts of the drum are doing, the guitar, I can hear brass. And so, yeah, I know theoretically what the drums are doing, but actually playing it, having that mechanics in my arms and legs, not so much. I'm comfortable on this thing.
So then, because you're so tuned into the music, like, do you listen to music at all, like on your downtime? Like,
no, it's all
wow.
It's all music listening for me is always work. The only time that it's not, that people that have been around me would testify, is when I'm singing along. Like car drives, I'm very good at listening to music, but I do get bored easily. I'm not very good at repetitive stuff, so I'm the kind of person that will change a song by the time the second verse comes in. If I feel like it's too boring, it's got to go. Even if I love the song, wow. It's something in my head it's struggling. It's like a torture. And there are certain bands and artists that actually get by. They completely pass whatever that is. And I'm not being a dickhead. It is just something in there that it's painful. It's similar to anybody that sings slightly off key. It's like it hurts in my head. I have to move. I have to move my head to block it. But there are certain bands, and there are bands that are fashionably unliked that I love because their music is complex enough that it passes by whatever that thing is in my head that's trying to work everything out. So Coldplay, for example, I can listen to non-stop, and Coldplay fashionably people don't like them. Go on, you don't like them? But people don't.
Everybody loves Coldplay. Coldplay is one of those. No, Coldplay is one of those bands that people are like, "Oh, I hate Coldplay," but they know every single word to "I Will Fix You" or to "Yellow." Right. 100%.
Yeah, for sure. Coldplay have that thing where, like, a film that wins the Oscar suddenly starts being hated. It's one of those things. You get too popular. So yeah, I could go and see a Coldplay concert tomorrow with 80,000 people in the stadium, but not walk down the street and find a single person that likes them. It's one of those weird things. But Coldplay get a pass for me. The musicianship is at a standard that actually gets by whatever that is in my head. They have a lot going on, and they evolve very well through their albums. So yeah, that's one of the rare bands that I can listen to without really suffering the whatever it is that I have to work everything out and learn every chord, and without even trying. So yeah, like things like what's the classic one? Listening to music when you're having sex? Absolutely no chance, because I'm working up here. There's no chance.
I was so gonna ask that question.
Yeah, no, absolutely no chance. You wouldn't have a very good partner in me if you had music on, because I'll be going, oh, that's an interesting seventh. It's not very sexy.
Like, oh, that was a choice.
Yeah.
That's really funny. So has this always been in your brain, or did this develop over time?
No, I wouldn't put it down to it being innate. And not only because I don't want people to think that you can't learn how to play by ear. You can train. I used to train myself to do it because it was the juxtaposition to learning to read music was, well, I'll just train to play by ear. So I used to do little tricks with myself where on a car journey home with my parents, the radio would be on, and the final song on the radio as we pulled up into the drive, I had to go and play it. Like, get to the point where not only work it out, but actually I have the chord in my head that when my hands go down, it will be the chord that I just heard leaving the car. And then I would do tricks where it would be the song before we pulled into our street. So then another song's played. So enjoy that next song, but have the chord ready from that previous one. Just training all the time. I heard like drummers do things where they, will practice doing drum rolls on a pillow because it strengthens their wrists and things like. Musicians do weird things to get themselves to an ability. And I have a party trick now where people can shout a song at me and I can play it. And that's because when I was 12 and 13, I was desperate to have those kind of tricks. And it was all a laziness. I just didn't want to read music.
I don't know if it's a laziness. I just think it's a different, I just think it's a different commitment to learning, because there's, sitting down and looking at something is completely different than being able to hear it. It's like how people learn. People learn by sight, by sound, or by touch.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
Like none of them are a weakness, like you're just stronger in one of them. Like that's how you learn. That's how your brain works. And it's not anything to like look down at. Like that's incredibly hard, because like when people go to learn songs that are sight reading, like they have to sit down and listen to it, and it's a very timed thing, whereas you are constantly working on your brain like that, I'm assuming, by like hearing music and like hearing songs being played, and then you just sit down. That's a superpower to me, because I do not possess that ability.
Well,
So
I appreciate that.
Incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps for things like Settle the Score. So Settle the Score, I play 15 scores or soundtracks. If anybody doesn't know what Settle the Score is, I recommend you go and watch it. It's a game show hosted by Matt Nost, and basically it's named that tune, right? But with scores and soundtracks.
Yeah.
But Matt gives me 15 songs to learn, or scores, and maybe soundtracks. 15, maybe 3 days before we go on air. So I've got to have the 15 ready, and there are. I would love to do, like, if Settle the Score ever got big enough that I was asked to do a commentary track, there are so many amazing moments where I'm smiling, but I'm like going crazy, panicking in my head, because I know the next score is whatever the Beyond, some weird horror movie. And I'm going, I have no idea how to play this right now. No idea. And it's just, it has to either come to me, or I'm going to have to admit that I don't know. And it's never gotten to the case, excuse me, it's never gotten to the case where Matt's had to edit an episode or anything like that. But there have been times I told my cousin who was watching, I said, look for me listening to the score, and basically just see me lean like this. And then when you can't see that ear, I've put my AirPod in and I listen to it quickly, and then I'm back and I play it. There have been 2 moments like that I've just scraped by. I mean, learning 15 in a week is a lot. So it helps to have that kind of party trick in my back pocket, for sure.
That's pretty fantastic. Now, do you find yourself not being able to enjoy movies the same way that you like get distracted, or like not distracted, or like not enjoy, but like get sidelined by music?
No, movies. I am so there's not many movies that I haven't cried watching. I get so emotionally swept up with movies. I guess they're like the Coldplay of media for me. I don't know. Like I totally I basically, movies are everything to me. Everything. And scores just comes with that. I'll play something for the first time in this episode, but I love. There's something about scores inside a film that they're different to other music, because they embed, and it's not just me with my freaky ears and brain. Scores embed themselves into your psyche, into some sort of long-term memory quicker than most other things. And there are great examples of that happening. My piano turned off because we took too long, but let me know if you can hear that. But I'll play you something, because I think everyone can hear, or everyone can hum, like Jurassic Park or Jaws or Star Wars, the classic ones that you hear over and over again. They're in the zeitgeist. But there are scores out there that you don't know, and if someone asks you to hum, I don't know where to start with that. It's not in my head for anyone. But when you hear it, you go, oh, that takes me back, right? And that's what scores do.
Mm-hmm.
And so for this one, I'm going to play you Big, the soundtrack from Big, Penny Marshall, right? So if I asked you to hum Big, I don't think many people, you'd have to really, really love that movie. And even if you loved it, I don't think anybody could just hum it. But when I play the notes from Big, for me and for everyone else I've tried this with, they go, oh, it takes me right back to that movie. And these are the notes. And you're walking down the street with him.
Instantly.
It's unbelievable.
Instantly.
Yeah. So that's what scores are, just magic for that. There's tons of examples where you don't think you know them, but you do. Even after watching the movie once, there's something there.
See, I have that recognition when it comes to like soundtracks of like not scores, but soundtracks. Like, you know how people like smell something, they're like, oh, that takes me back to this day of my life, and I remember what I was doing. Like, I have that with songs. So like, there are certain songs that I will hear and be like, oh my god, I need to go watch Empire Records right now, or oh my god, I need to go watch Clerks or something like that. And the same is with soundtracks, like or with scores. It's just this piece of music that just it's so emotional, and you just attach yourself to that.
Yeah,
I think
for sure. Yeah. It's like it is like
or happiness.
Yeah, for sure. It is like when you're watching a movie and feeling so much joy. It's like you're opening yourself up to senses that are then they're skipping the short-term memory straight into long-term. Like they're going right into their and one day they'll come up and it will remind you of that. Yeah, like you say, with smells are exactly that. They work in exactly the same way. But it must be something to do with watching a movie and feeling the emotion of it that allows that to happen, because I also think it works the same with watching live music. I think if you listen to an album just on your, I was going to say iPod, and I'm not 50 years old. If you listen to on your iPod Shuffle, if you listen to an album, right?
It's okay. I'm right there with you.
I don't know what the generic one is. If you listen to an iPod, if you listen to an album, you don't absorb that album in. It would take you a few listens. If you saw that album being performed live, the emotion of seeing it live, the crowd with you, it's opening you up emotionally to absorb that album, and you will remember songs from that album way better than had you just listened to it in the dark with your eyes closed. Like, there's just something about those situations in life, and even watching a movie on your TV, it just works. There's something about them, and I love movies. Always been a movie fan. Not nearly good enough to compete in trivia. I'm glad I'm the other side of the piano during Settle the Score, but I do love movies. Always have. Very important to me.
Yeah, right. Ryan Kramer points out, he goes, notice that he mentioned 3 scores all by John Williams. I mean, John knows what he's doing. There's a reason. Like,
what did I say?
You know, you hear Jaws,
Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park. I said 4 actually.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, 4. I said 4 if you're gonna have nitpick. Yeah, no, I mean Johnny Williams. Everyone knows those scores, so they're the hummables.
Yeah, it's so good. So then can you go to any restaurant that has like a live piano player or anything, or does it just like completely distract you?
Oh, the piano player at a piano bar or a restaurant, that's an entirely different thing. This is going to sound awful, but it doesn't matter. I'll lose a few fans. Who cares? I struggle with it. I struggle with it on a very egotistical basis. I struggle with it because I think I could sit there and do better. And that's a really, really complicated feeling to have when I'm British and supposed to be humble and all that kind of stuff. But I actually do. I find myself going, I should get up there. obviously some people are uber talented. It doesn't even matter. They might even be better than me. I always have an issue with piano players and thinking that I could play that chord sweeter. Maybe it's that's very against type to what I said about the next generation coming up and being better than me. So maybe it's anybody that's just my age. But I struggle with it. I struggle being in a piano bar and sitting there listening to. I couldn't have a conversation like this if someone's playing piano over there. No way. But not because I'm working out his chords. It's because I'm going.
Because we're
you should be
him.
chatting with him, and I'll go and play. So yeah.
You're like, no. Let me show you how it's done. Like, go take a break.
Yeah, no, and they might be excellent. It's that thrive to be great thing, I guess.
When was the last time you got to perform live?
Like live? I stopped. I was in a band for 11 years and went on tour with people, and I kind of the tour that I went on that was the most, I guess, successful. Crazy story. I mean, maybe in the Mayhem section of this chat we can get into that. We can get into it. But
let
okay.
It flow.
Okay, cool. So the way I got on this tour is bananas. So there was a period of time, like a decade, where I was asked to be best man over and over again. So I ended up being best man like 6 times. And for people that had brothers and best friends and childhood friends, everyone kept asking me. And I think it was because there's a trust in that I'll put on a show. So you get like the amount of times people have said you're like a professional best man. I look after the couple. I treat them both. I'm best man for both of them as far as I'm concerned, not just the guy. And then my speech is normally a performance. So I'll do comedy songs. I'll write them like a nice love song or whatever. I'll do like multimedia presentation. It's a full thing. And that kind of best man speech runs in my family. I actually grew up watching speeches like that, and that's why I kind of adopted it. And for one of the times I was best man, my cousin who had asked me and his fiance at the time had told me that they were going to have a certain artist as their first dance. They told me the song and the artist. And the reason they told me is because they know I'm a huge fan of this person. So they were like, oh, that guy you introduced us to, that singer, not introduced them in person, but like introduced them, like, listen to this. They were like, we're going to have one of his songs. We've fallen in love with one of his songs. We want to have it as our first dance. I was like, that's incredible. So I was thinking of ways to, I was thinking of ideas for my speech, and I was thinking, wouldn't it be great? So their idea was they were going to have an intimate wedding in Ireland, because we're Irish, and then 2 weeks later have like a reception where they were going to actually do their first dance. They weren't going to do their first dance in Ireland. They were going to just have the wedding there, and then 2 weeks later have a bigger party where everyone can come. And I thought, what a great idea it would be if I can get a photo of them as a married couple in Ireland, ship it off to this artist if I can get hold of his management company, have him kind of sign it, write them a message, and then get it back, and I'll gift it to them at the end of my speech. I think that's quite nice. And because of the 2 week window, no best man ever has the opportunity to do that kind of gift. And this is my chance. I've got this thing to do. So I was thinking, right, I've got to do that thing. And I emailed his management company, and basically I asked if he's willing to do this, if he can do it. And they said, yeah, as long as you pay for postage and packaging, that kind of thing, we'll do it. So it's like, great. And then I thought, well, I'd already clocked this idea that if I get in touch with this management company, I'm going to ask. And I just said, since you said yes to that, what's the chances that I can get him as a surprise guest to sing it? And they were like, this much money, in an email reply to me. And I was like, oh, well, I'm not a corporate company. Yeah. I'm just a guy. I'm not forking out that much money. And in the tens of thousands, like insane. But like probably standard for an artist. Anyway, so I managed to like haggle them down to an affordable amount. and I said that, you know, his hotel will be covered. I'll pick him up, and everything will be sorted. Absolutely everything will be sorted. I said I'm a musician as well. And then I had tickets to see this guy because I was a big fan of him. And I went to see him at the show, and I had organized with this management company to basically meet him backstage to discuss how we were going to do it, how we were going to deal with the surprise. And we hit it off just like that. Not like fan to artist, but just very similar to Matt Nost in that way. Like the way me and Matt met, even though I came to see him as a fan, we just clicked. It was just right. And so anyway, he was excited then. So on the day he arrives, he gets there. The song is going to be Light Me Up. And this is important. The song they want is Light Me Up. It's track 10 on his third album. And he gets there and he goes, so we're doing Better, right? We're doing Better. That's another song of his. And actually the most famous song of his. Everyone has it as their first dance in England. And I was like, oh, no, they don't want Better. It's Light Me Up. And he goes, oh, Light Me Up. God, I haven't played that in years. On the day of their wedding or on the reception. And I went, this is where the ego gets the best of me a little bit. I went, well, I know it. I know how to play it. So let's get back to the hotel and like, I'll show you how to play your own song, right? And I'm showing him on guitar and I'm singing along with him and I'm telling him the chords. And then he starts singing it and I'm doing the harmonies on it. I know the song very well. I'm doing harmonies and he's singing. And he's like, dude, why aren't you playing with me? You should be playing with me at the reception. And I was like, well, okay, I'll do that then. I'm like, he's like one of my favorite people. And so it gets to the reception. I bring him out. Like, oh, what happened was I'd set it up that they would do their first dance at the end of my speech, and I had the track, but I'd edited the track to make it sound like a record scratch, like it dies and it melts down a little bit. Mm-hmm. And everyone goes, oh, like awkward, cringy moment. This is on YouTube, by the way, on my channel. Just look for my name. And the really cringy, horrible moment. And then I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do. And like, no one's got the track and they're supposed to do their first dance. They're stood there in each other's arms and it's silence. And I'm acting my ass off. And I'm like, well, look, I've got a piano here. The best we can do is maybe play it. Like, does anyone know on guitar? It really needs guitar. And then he walks through. And he joins me at the piano with his guitar and he sings it to them and he gives them a lovely message and says, you're a beautiful couple. And he says a little bit about how we met and blah, blah, blah. And then we played together and it went so well. And she's crying. My cousin's crying. It was an amazing moment. And then like 3 months later, maybe longer than that, but time doesn't mean anything. Yeah, I get a phone call anymore. And it's basically Tom's piano player is in France on tour with someone big. He needs a piano player. So yeah, that was how I got that tour. It's from being very cheeky. And and I went out on tour, and then that tour is a really nice UK tour, lots of fans. And the thing that it taught me most was I don't want to be a musician. I think you need a particular depth of skin on the way out and the way in. I think you need a very, very thick skin in order to cope with it not going well. We didn't have many nights where it didn't go well, but there were some management companies that showed up that didn't treat us very nice. And I think you need a thick skin to keep in some of the ego. And I think when people are asking for your autograph every night and want a photo with you, and they genuinely are interested in how you play piano so well and all this kind of stuff, honestly, it was like my personality was just changing day by day. And I went through all the being egotistical and having a six-pack, and I did that when I was 18, and I grew boobs so that I didn't have to be like that anymore, so I could gain a personality and be able to talk to people. And suddenly it's all coming back, all this like ego and horrible. And I was like, no, I don't like it. So at the end of the tour, I retired from live music. And so that answers your question, I guess, in a very long way. I haven't played live in years. for that very reason. Other than I've played weddings, people ask me to play them down the aisle or something like that. I've written wedding marches that don't sound like your normal one and stuff. People ask me to do that, but yeah, that kind of thing, playing with a band or playing live with fans and stuff, I gave that up because it's better for my personality if I don't have that ego. It's a very self-analytical.
Done the same. Yeah, it definitely gets to you. I mean, people literally throw themselves at you, whether regardless of the connotation, but like it gets to you. It definitely affects your mentality of how you deal with people and how they deal with you and how you judge people. I said the 5 most hated words ever only once, and I vomited in my mouth almost immediately.
Do you know who I am?
Don't you know who I am? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah.
Like legitimately. I said it with the attitude and the tone of voice. It was awful. I was trying to get backstage at the House of Blues on Sunset when it still existed, RIP. Because the Dropkick Murphys were playing there, and I was going back to I'm a massage therapist by trade.
No
and
way.
Ken Casey has he used to bring me out, and like anytime we were in the same towns together, I would come out and like take care of the guys, and like Matt, their drummer, has like forearms of iron, and so like I would work on his forearms, I would work on Ken's like back. Just all the guys have different ailments in their bodies because they're no longer spring chickens, and they've been doing this forever. So I was trying to get backstage, and it was a new security guard, like brand new, first night on the job, and he was relieving the guy to that was at the door to go backstage. And I had like 18 different bracelets and like all of them like different colors, and I was like, it's here somewhere, I just need to go backstage. He's like, no. And I'm like, he literally was keeping me from my job. And I very angrily was like, don't you know who I am? And I was like, oh. I would like to apologize for that last sentence. Please go talk to Mike, your boss. Let him know that Rachel's here. I will wait. So he got on his radio, was like, Mike, Rachel's here. He's like, send her back. We've been waiting for it. And I'm like, thank you.
Right.
And I walked back, and I felt horrible. Like I walked back and I just was ashen, and they were like, are you okay? And I'm like, oh, I just douchebagged so hard. I felt so bad. I bought the guy a drink after the set, so it was fine.
Right, fair enough. Yeah.
But yeah, it does affect you. It
yeah.
And then you come home and you're still on that ego trip, and you start dealing with your friends and family, and they're like, who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah.
It's like, no. I wiped your ass when you were little. You don't get to act like that to me.
Yeah, 100%. It definitely, it's an ugly thing. And I actually, the other side of it is that the artists that I've worked with, when they have that, ounce of fame, and that high that you get from being on stage every night during a tour, I see them trying to fill that void with addictions beyond belief. They all get addicted to various things, not just something. They're addicted to something to fill a void. And I could totally see that. I could see how that would work. I'm far too aware of everything to not catch little things like that, and I basically made the decision to stop for that reason. I do love playing. I would just prefer it to be, I'd prefer it to be a job where someone's looking at the lovely looking girl in the white dress, not me. That works better. So like
touring with Justin Timberlake would be a yes or a no?
Who's that? What's that?
I said, so touring with Justin Timberlake, would that be a yes or a no?
No. Do you know what? No. I love Timberlake. Here he is. I love Timberlake.
I know.
But I've watched Timberlake wince from one of his incredible musicians playing slightly flat. I've seen him wince when I've watched him live because he can hear everything. He might be one of the musical geniuses of the world that people don't know about. Like, he can hear everything. And I've heard a bass note go wrong whilst watching him. And I'm like, when I watch Timberlake, I'm not drooling and I'm not dancing around. I'm studying. Like when I was younger, my mum took me to a Justin Timberlake concert, and she asked me afterwards, "Did you even enjoy that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I loved it," because it looked like I was.
You're just so focused in.
I'm just studying, and I watched him I watched him catch a bad bass note in the same way my ear does it, and I was like, "What the?" I already had an appreciation from everything that he can do, but being able to hear a bummer in amongst all the instruments that's going on in his, and he's performing, and he actually caught it hit his ear, and I was like, "Oh my god, I didn't know Timberlake had that." I don't even think Michael Jackson had that, honestly. Michael had a great ear, but yeah, I think Timberlake is an actual musical genius, and I think he can play piano better than me as well, which is annoying. Yeah, he's just one of those people.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to go see Justin Timberlake on the 2020 concert, or on the 2020
tour. I saw that one. Yeah, I saw that in New York.
Not of the year, but 2020.
Yeah.
Dude, it was amazing. I lucked out because our head truck driver on Beauty and the Beast had the summer. We had the summer off, and so he went to go be a truck driver on the 2020 Experience tour, and nice. He happened to be coming through San Jose while I was here on break, and so I got like a great ticket, and like it was just, I've never seen a concert like that before, and I've seen if not hundreds, thousands of concerts of all types of music from all different artists, and like that is probably the most entertained and swept up I've ever been in a concert.
Yeah, I remember that show starting. It starts with Push a Love Girl, right?
Yeah.
And you just get the big, he's lit from the back, so the big silhouette comes up on screen, and the strings just ba-da-da, and they string, and and then he just hits every beat, and and his ode to the rap,
Michael Jackson,
Rat Pack, and oh yeah, that's right, he did. Yeah, he moved that around. He did what was it? Oh, my piano's gone off again. He did Tell Her That It's Human Nature, Why? He did that, right?
Yeah.
But in the UK, when I saw him do it in the UK, he did someone else. He did Beatles and Elvis.
And he did Elvis.
He did Elvis with you guys
too.
As well.
Yeah.
He didn't do Michael Jackson in the UK.
But like that whole set that he does at the back, because like when the stage comes up and like goes over the audience, like first of all, like fuck you. Like that is like you're in town for one day and you have them set that up. Like, oh my God. Like they must have like 17 different trucks just like leapfrogging from city to city. I assume
and
that bar was like literally right in front of me by like, because I was at it was an arena, and so I was right at the very back, right as the seats started to go up into the bowl area, and there was literally, I was front row of that, and then all of the tech guys were in front of me, like just down below a little bit, so like I had all of the screens for video in front of me, so I could just like watch those instead of the screens up there, because I got to watch everything that was being fed by video, which was amazing.
Amazing.
But then literally the only people in front of me were like these two massive black security guards. And when Justin was up there, I was like, I could totally beat these guys and like just plow through them.
Don't you know who I am?
Right. I'm your truck driver's niece, according to him. But but yeah, that was a hell of a fucking concert.
It's a good show. Good show.
Well, he's amazing. I mean, I think that he is the definition of a Renaissance man. Like he can sing, he can act, he can play music. Like, you know, he does so much. He produced movies. Like he's just so good at everything he touches. It's really obnoxious, actually.
Yeah, I think he's gotten really unlucky with movies, actually, for his ability. Do you know the film Alpha Dog?
Yeah.
Emil Hirsch. Like,
I
he's
actually
cool
really
in
love
that
the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like cool in that. Him and Emil Hirsch work super well together, and Anton Yelchin, right? Early role.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like very, very cool in that film, but didn't really go anywhere. And then Southland Tales was a mess, and Black Snake Moan, right, a mess. People like it, but I think he got really unlucky. I mean, obviously, Social Network, he got to play probably what he's like in real life. I'd imagine. I haven't heard that he's like the nicest guy, but you can't be that good and that nice. I think.
He's I think what women get judged by. Like when women are, strong and powerful and know what they want and don't put up with any bullshit. I think that's, and everybody's like, oh, she's a bitch, like whatever, she's a ball buster. I feel like that's the attitude that he gives. He's like, this is what I want.
Yeah.
Do it. And we want to, like, if you do it, we won't have any problems. Like,
I made this argument the other day, right? When someone was saying how Ellen sounds like she's a bit of a dickhead, I was going, it's just because she's female. Honestly, you don't think Fallon gives people shit when he needs everything? He's not a diva. Of course he is. The men get away with that attitude, and it doesn't make any sense. But Ellen probably drives quite a tight ship.
I would think so.
And there have been stories going around for years about how she's horrible to her staff, but there isn't a revolving door down at the Ellen show. People stick around. She's had the same producers forever. I can imagine that she's just as demanding as anybody else that famous.
Too much.
Yeah. But I think there's something about.
I would think so.
Yeah, there's something about when.
I mean, yeah, but there's just one of those things that, like.
Sorry, I think we were on a delay.
Oh no, are we hiccuping?
Mm-hmm.
Andy?
I can hear you okay. I don't know. I might have to look at the feed. I'm going to check the comments for requests whilst Rachel's reloading. Oh, are you back?
I'm back. Guys, if you have any requests, throw them into, let's say, Streamlabs, but I can't operate Streamlabs without the video stuttering. So just, if you feel like it, send some donations. Otherwise, add in a request. I know we have a request by Ferris. He definitely wants to hear some Billy Joel.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. Does he want a particular, do we know if he wants a particular song? I think it's just me for a second. I'm going to check the comments and see. I'm going to change the camera whilst we're waiting for Rachel so you guys can see. Are you back, Rachel? Have we got you?
Yes, I'm here.
Great. Do we know what song? Are you a Billy Joel fan? Do you know which one he might enjoy? Or she? I don't know who it is. I'll do She's Always a Woman, because it I think it relates to what we were talking about with Ellen, likely.
Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what's going on.
Hey, Rachel. Are you back? The internet playing up.
Janky brat.
Well, that is the internet playing up at your place. We're on a big delay.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, you're good. Go ahead and play something pretty.
Ryan says, Rachel, just to let you know.
This is I'm sorry. So sorry, guys. This is the fun part of it. Okay, so there was definitely a request for Billy Joel. Did I miss a song? Because
No, I haven't played yet. I haven't played. I was gonna play "She's Always a Woman" because it kind of related to what we were talking about with females getting a bad rap.
I love that.
So I'll go for that. You know that song?
I know all of Billy Joel's song. Billy Joel was actually the very first concert I went to when I was 14 years old.
No way. Oh well, you can. Would you prefer a different request? I can play probably every Billy Joel song.
Literally every song is my favorite.
Okay, we'll start with
go
"She's
ahead.
Always a Woman" if I remember how to play it. She can kill with a smile. She can wound with her eyes. She can ruin your faith with her casual lies. She only reveals what she wants you to see. She hides like a child, but she's always a woman to me. She can lead you to love, she can take you or leave you. She can ask for the truth, but she'll never believe. And she'll take what you give her as long as it's free. Yeah, she steals like a thief, but she's always a woman to me.
I love that song.
It's a good song.
It is. I mean, everything by Billy Joel was amazing, but like, I don't know what it is about that song. For some reason, it always calms me down.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, considering I run really high and hot, so it's the
Nice.
Italian blood in me. I can't help it. But yeah, I remember going to see him, and it was Billy Joel and Elton John face to face.
Oh, the face to face tour. Yep.
I think it was 1994. No, I would have been 10. 1997 or 8, I think. And we missed the first, it was free tickets. We missed the first like 15 minutes, and then they played for 3 hours almost nonstop.
Nice.
It was one of the most unbelievable things. And then I ended up going to see a show in LA by one of my favorite musicians named Butch Walker.
I know Butch Walker, yeah.
He is the man I would give my soul for. Like,
right.
If he needed to be saved for humanity's sake, I would save him because he's just that fantastic.
Cool dude.
And I went to a show at the Hotel Cafe, and we hung out after hours because it was the day after my 21st birthday, and I had a beer and I was still drunk. It was a rough night for me, but then everybody came out of the green room and like sat down on the stage, and somebody went to the piano and started playing Piano Man, but everybody was so drunk that we couldn't remember the song order, so we just kept singing the same verses and the same
really?
Like,
that's funny.
We were just singing in a circle for like 20 minutes, the same song, but nobody cared because we were all just hanging out and having fun together.
That's great. That's really great.
Pink ended up being there with Carrie Hart before they got married, and she requested Me and Bobby McGee to be played on the piano,
right,
by Janis Joplin, and she started singing. I was drunk. I started singing harmonies with her, and she came up to me. It was like, "You've got a great voice." I'm like, "You are plastered. Like, there's no way you should think that I can sing."
That's funny.
Yes, Thrawn, I agree with you. I think that we should bring back drinking songs like the Hobbits sing. 100%. I mean, go to any Dropkick Murphys show or Flogging Molly's, like legit drinking songs. So much fun.
I think Piano Man is a drinking song. There's no, yeah, I think it is. It has that. La, 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 la. I think it is one of those like sway. You can be drunk. Yeah,
have your drink. Don't slosh it because it's slow enough that you can't. It's fine.
Yeah.
No, I love. I mean, that's one of those songs that when it comes in, when it plays in a bar, I don't care who you are, you sing along.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
Whether you can or not.
What
was your first concert?
My first? Oh my God.
Or
I don't have that kind of.
Remember?
Yeah, I don't have that kind of first concert like memory thing. Do you know what? The only thing that I can remember in terms of like seeing something live was we were brought up on musicals. So we saw tons of theater, and I think my earliest memory in a theater would be Phantom. Saw it because I was talking on Comparing Notes yesterday, the show that I do with Mark Riley, about horror and how things don't necessarily need to be that scary. If you see them at the right age, they will always be scary to you. And for me, Vigo the Carpathian from Ghostbusters 2 still scares me. Still, like, I can watch any horror movie. Like, I sat and watched think crazy, like Hereditary and Midsommar, not really that affected. But if I see that Vigo guy from Ghostbusters 2, I freak out. It's like a nostalgia horror. And the Phantom, seeing Phantom the Opera live now, even as an adult, still freaks me out in the same way it did when I was a kid, because it brings me back to those memories of being scared by him.
How old were you when you saw that?
I don't remember. Young, really young.
Because my memory of Phantom, because I've never seen it live, which I know is a huge, like, I work in theater. How do you not see this? But I remember listening to the soundtrack, and I was just disgusted and confused at the fact that Christine picked Raoul over the Phantom, and I'm like, but he loves you. Like, Raoul's just a whiny bitch. And that was the beginning of my problems.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, musical theater does. Somebody had mentioned earlier about about how we remember things, and how musicals definitely do embed them into our subconscious incredibly easy. Because you're also just like, it just brings together like the visuals and like, the feeling of sitting in a theater. And they've actually done studies on this, that a group of people sitting in the theater watching a musical together, after a certain point, their heartbeats start to sync up. So they're literally feeling everything together at the same time, which amplifies the emotions. And it's such a crazy, amazing thing, which is, I miss live theater so much.
Yeah. Have you got a favorite show?
Yeah, I love Something Rotten. It just makes me laugh so hard, and it's so clever and so wonderful. I've seen it 3 times on Broadway. It just makes me so incredibly happy. But I mean, I grew up watching, or listening to like Les Mis and Miss Saigon, and A Chorus Line was the first one I ever saw. But I remember being like 5 years old, running around the house singing Dance 10 Looks 3, another sign of why I turned out the way I am. But like, I mean, musicals have always been like a massive part of my life. My dad was the one who really like showed me what like musicals were, like through movies at first, and then he was very insistent on taking us to like go see live theater. What are your favorite musicals?
I grew up with the Les Mis and Phantom, like classics. But actually, my favorite musical is one that not a lot of people got to see because it died on Broadway quite quickly after coming out, and that was Groundhog Day. I saw Groundhog Day in London opening night, and then on its penultimate night on Broadway, and it's incredible. I play the songs from it often. It's a very, very good show written by Tim Minchin. Yeah,
I heard such
absolutely.
amazing things about that show. Like I
It
was
was so
dying to
good.
get there and like
So
get
good.
to go see it, and I was on tour and couldn't go see it.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
everybody thinks the tour life is so glamorous, and it's like, no, you miss out on so much because you don't have any days off, or if you do, you're stuck in like Omaha, Nebraska,
Right.
which
Right.
doesn't really have theater unless you're
Uh,
there to provide it. Uh,
So, uh, Groundhog Day, actually, this is interesting because you know the movie, right? You must have seen
yes,
the movie a few times. The Groundhog Day, the musical, which I think originally intended to be a musical before it got made into a movie. Um, the musical answered one of the questions that has been bugging me since I was a child. Watch Groundhog Day is definitely in the top 10 movies of all time for me, just on repeat watching. And one of the questions I always had, or nitpicks, because I think you're allowed to have nitpicks even with your favorite movie. I think it's healthy. And sometimes the difference between something being a nitpick and a plot hole is basically the same adage as you forgive your friends for doing a horrific thing, but you would curse your enemy for having their elbows on the table, that kind of thing. And I think if you don't like a movie, it's got plot holes. If you do like a movie, it's like a nitpick that you have an issue with. It's like something forgivable.
mm-hmm.
And this thing in Groundhog Day bugs me no end, right? So basically, I'm gonna play the movie back to you quickly. So he gets trapped in Punxsutawney on Groundhog Day for probably 1,000 years. It doesn't specify in the movie, but for him to get to the point where he wants to commit suicide in every way possible, and then he actually they'd leave it out of the movie, but he actually turns to homosexuality at some point in the story. He gives up on women, he gets bored of them, and he has to learn how to ice sculpt at a professional level, and he has to learn how to play piano at a professional level, and he has to find himself in a way that takes forever. You have to go through all of that, wanting to, getting bored on life, wanting to commit suicide every which way, and that probably goes in a cycle over hundreds of years. And then he has to, as an adult, which is important because adults don't learn as quickly as children. He has to learn as an adult how to go from not being able to play piano to being able to play professionally. And he only gets that window of time with that piano teacher every day. It's not like he can sit at his own piano and practice every day. He gets that window, and that window stipulates that he robs the bank, because if he doesn't rob the bank, he can't flash the money to the piano teacher to kick her student out that day, which is on repeat. So he has a sequence of events that lead him to, and he starts devoting himself as the son of the homeless man. He actually begins to believe he's his father. It must be 1,000 years, right? So he gets that good at piano at some point because Rita has said that she would love to have learned piano. And that day that he has his epiphany day, not epiphany day, but the perfect day, he gives that guy, the mayor, the Heimlich maneuver to save him. He catches the kid in the tree. He jacks the tire of the old women when their tire bursts. He has the perfect day. He manages to get that married couple WrestleMania tickets, actually physical tickets, which I don't know how he did in a day, but that's fine. But the other thing that he definitely didn't do is go to a piano lesson, because the day before that day, he was definitely that good at piano, because you don't get suddenly good on a spike. He's been that good for years because he's done all his piano lessons. He is that good at piano. So there is no way that piano teacher met him that day. Absolutely not. And at the dance, she says to Rita, when she's doing this stupid dance that she's doing, she goes, "He's good, isn't he? He's my student." And I go, fuck you. There is no fucking way that you've met him, because that's a new day for you. You did not meet him that day. So that is a line in the movie that it doesn't make sense. There's no way he took time out of his day to go to a piano lesson. No way. So anyway, in the musical, I was like, I wonder if they're going to have that line where she says, "He's my student," and I cringe. And in the musical, she is next to Rita whilst he's doing on the piano, and she goes, "He's good, isn't he? That's my piano." And I was like, they have the same problem that I had. So they changed the line in the musical. There you go.
Interesting.
Because it's definitely a problem.
You've put no thought into this, I can tell. This is just like a spur of the moment rant.
That rant.
I love that it affected you that much.
It's annoying. Someone taking credit. I mean, she did teach him how to play piano. Yeah. And she probably taught him over 50 years of her life. Well, not her life, but his life. She probably taught him every day for about 50 years to get that good from scratch at the age of 45. But she doesn't know that. No way. I don't agree with her taking credit. So there you go. I hope everyone else is as bothered by that as I am.
I mean, now I am.
Yeah. The other one that
because now I'm going to watch it again in 2 months and be like, oh shit.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. The other one that annoys me, right? Here we go. This is a much quicker one though.
Tell me what else annoys you.
In Big, one of my favorite movies. I already played it. In Big, he finds the Zoltar machine at the end, unplugs it, asks to be a kid again. Lucky for him, he doesn't turn into a baby goat. Need to be specific with these fortune tellers, but that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But then his girlfriend or whatever, woman, she drives him home to his street as Tom Hanks. And he gets out of the car and starts beelining for his house as Tom Hanks. He's going to get arrested. Why aren't you waiting until you're a child to go home? Just wait overnight. Last time it took overnight when you went from a kid to an adult. Wait, you're going to walk in and freak your mum out again. But then he must have known him. He must have had a tingle or something because immediately he's a kid. Go for it.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he's also like internally, as you grow up, like he didn't have the brain of an adult. He still had the brain of an adolescent boy, which
that's true.
As every girl can attest, and most boys are willing to admit it, adolescent boys' brains don't really work that well.
Probably true.
They're not quite so logical.
Yeah, that's probably true. But he's walking quite confidently home, and he's probably thinking, I'll walk in, I'll look like Tom Hanks, I'll explain, in the morning I'll be Josh again, and my mum will be fine.
Probably the reason why.
Anyway, sorry.
I mean, but then again, he did go home while he was Tom, remember?
Yeah, like and it freaked her out.
In the movie when he was for Tom.
She pulls a knife on him. When he first
turned into Tom Hanks. And oh shit, am I frozen again?
There's a little bit of delay, yeah.
Because he's a strange man in her house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. If there is a musical of Big, and maybe they sort it out.
She's gonna remember what you look like.
yeah, exactly.
I hope so. I mean, Big would be amazing. I did get to see the musical version of Silence of the Lambs. It was a musical parody, and it was probably the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's nuts.
Yeah, I've not even heard of that. So funny. It never made it. It never made it to Broadway. I was out here in LA on a break from beauty, working on Mary Poppins, and the musical director for Silence is a friend of mine, and so he saw that I was in LA, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to come to our open invitation, like our invite only, like pre-opening night?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, I do." And so I went. I took one of my best girlfriends and her then boyfriend, who is now her husband, with their 2 sons, and the 3 of us went to go see it, and we were crying laughing. Like, it was so good. I highly recommend looking it up. Silence the musical. There's a song, like the big ballad of Act 1 is by Hannibal Lecter. It's If I Could Smell Her Cunt. And it's this really like beautiful song.
Right.
Like, it's weird to say, but like it was oddly touching and funny and extremely bizarrely gross, but it was so funny. I would love to go see that again.
Interesting.
Oh, Ryan, you know what I'm talking about. Yes. Oh my God. And the girl who played Clarice, I don't know where they found her, but she looked and sounded just like Jodie Foster in the movie.
Huh.
It was fantastic. I
that's cool.
wish it was still a thing. I remember they were doing in LA, they do a musical version of Die Hard every year, which is amazing. And so much fun that I'm sad that I'm missing it this year. I mean, it's not like I'm not going to be there for it. It's just not happening because we're not allowed to be together anymore. But they also did what was it? I Know What You Did Last Summer as a musical. And
Nice.
yeah, that was really fantastic. Like all of it's just so creative, guys. There's nothing else to do right now. Just be creative.
Yeah,
Create the musical. I did tweet out about how I want there to be a coronavirus musical, but I want it to be funny.
Right. Yeah.
And I need there to be songs like, did these sweatpants shrink or did I eat too many Doritos? I want a ballad like I've already watched a stupid show 3 times on Netflix.
Yeah.
Like my friends and I got drunk and came up with a massive list and we started tweeting, responding. It was great.
That's funny. Me and Alex Marzonia should write that for you.
Oh my God. Yes, I would love to hear you and Alex work together. That would be fucking
he's
fantastic.
A talented dude. I saw Ryan request a song actually.
So, I know it's getting late for you and I don't want to hold you up too much, but we did have this fun idea, guys. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Or am I totally frozen?
I can hear you. A bit delayed.
Am I back? Can you see me? Okay. What were you saying?
We can do your thing. Ryan had put a request in, but I'll get there by the time we're done.
All right. So we had this idea to come up with. Andy's going to play a few Disney songs to see if I can point out the movie. So if you guys want to take bets, place your bets now.
You know Disney quite well, though, don't you? That's gonna be Disney. Oh, Rachel's frozen. I'll Oh, you're back. You're back. That looks good. There's no pixels or anything.
God. Okay. Damn it. No. I'm sorry, guys. This is just like the worst. All I'm hearing are chords.
That's quite a big delay, I think,
Hello?
Rachel.
Hello? Is it me you're looking for? Oh, you can hear that. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Oh, Ryan. Oh, damn it.
Easily.
Damn it. This whole... What do you say is going to be easy?
I think you'll easily get 80%. I think you'll get them all. I think Disney's gettable, isn't it?
Hold on, I'm literally trying to figure out what is sucking up all the bandwidth.
Yeah.
So annoying. Okay, my laptop should be one of the only things that are on right now. Okay. Oh, I was trying to figure out what that was.
Oh yeah, you can have a go at that if you want. It is Disney technically, I guess.
Is that from Tomorrowland?
No. You're allowed 3 guesses.
Oh God. I thought we were doing Disney animation.
No, we are.
I'm so I cannot place it.
Has anyone got it? No, that was a tricky one. That was the Brain movie. Yes. The Brain movie, Inside Out.
Oh, right. That was the scene where she was skating around in the memory.
Yeah, it's a nice score, Michael Giacchino.
Thank you. I love that movie.
Yeah, beautiful. Soup de jour, hot d'oeuvre, why we only live to serve.
Try the gray stuff. It's delicious.
Nice.
Don't believe me. Ask the dishes.
Yeah. Try the gray stuff. It's delicious. Don't believe me. It's not delicious.
It's been taking dance after all this is and the dinner is never second. Don't want to hold you a minute. I can literally do the entire choreo too.
Nice.
I was once on. We had a break from that tour, and I went to Rome, and I was sitting down having this beautiful dinner by myself. Great wine, great food. Reading my Ava Gardner biography, and all of a sudden I hear da 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 da, and I'm like, my head whips up, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I start laughing maniacally to the point where my waitress comes over and she's like, is everything okay? Because you're scaring the other guests. And I told her, I was like, I'm on vacation. I tour with Beauty and the Beast. And she starts listening. She goes, I'll be right back. She brings me the rest of the bottle of wine. She goes, that's on the house. And I'm like, bless you.
Nice. Very nice.
It was very sweet.
All right, let's try this. This is going to be easy as well, but it's good fun. Hey, clear the way in the old bazaar. Hey, let us through with surprise. You already got it?
Will come be the first on the box to me desire. Are you kidding? Aladdin? Robin Williams? Give it to me. Oh. I always loved that they included hookers in that story. It just made me happy for some reason.
They did what? Teach me what you mean?
Oh, no. Like, so during Prince Ali, when they're walking down the street and like he goes to like talk to the ladies in the windows at the top of the building.
His references,
those are hookers.
Oh, right. Yes, I've got you.
Like I remember even as a small child, just like laughing about that.
No way. You got stuff early.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I was a fan.
Next one. Let's get down to business. That's all you're getting on that one.
To defeat the Huns. I mean, to be
Nice.
fair, I remember being at Disneyland, and anywhere you go in Disneyland, if you said those words, just the words, let's get down to business, it would be like a group would come together and your life would turn into fame.
Nice,
Like
nice.
everybody would be singing and dancing. It was hilarious.
That's funny.
Maybe that was just my friends.
I'm trying to think of some deep cuts. Don't look in the chat. See if people give me some deep cut Disney. Probably my favorite and
All right,
story.
I'll get out of the chat. You guys help them out.
Oh yeah, Ryan's right. You can have a look in the chat for that one. Perry missed Prince Ali on Settle the Score.
Seriously? How
Yeah.
dare?
Um,
I mean, you can try. I was raised on it.
yeah, that's the thing.
I mean, there was a time when you could cut me and I would bleed pixie dust.
Let's see if you let's try a score again. A Disney alt.
Why? Why? That's so mean. Why would you your birds were supposed to be fucking nice. God damn it.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, talk about a piece of music that is so simple but instantly generates a gut reaction of just loss and love and hope and longing. Oh my god.
Yeah. That first chord that he hits, this F major 7, that kind of, it sounds sad even though it's a major chord, and he does the same thing. Giacchino does the same thing in did you watch Lost when Lost was on? You must have watched that, right?
I didn't actually. It's
No
one
way.
of the ones that I've been meaning to binge. Yeah, don't.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
that'd be
PJ
fun.
knows, so you don't have to let him know. He knows I haven't seen Lost yet. He's still very disappointed in me as a friend. It's fine.
I have an idea for a podcast actually regarding Lost, and since you haven't seen it, that could be a really fun show. And there's a famous line in Lost where the line is, "We have to go back." Like it's a T-shirt type line. And I thought the podcast should be called "We Have to Go Back," and it's about rewatching Lost. But rewatching Lost, like someone who's seen it through 3 or 4 times, like I have, with someone who hasn't ever seen it before, would be a great show.
Yep, I'm in.
So Giacchino does this very similar chord progression in Lost, even though you don't know it, won't have the same emotional whack. But it goes like maybe the in the chat they'll recognize it. That's When Anyone Dies in Lost.
I was about to say, that sounds incredibly depressing.
Yeah, it's when anyone dies. The music, normally the sound of the, like, any Foley, any dialogue, all of it goes away. It's all stripped away. Like JJ does that in his films with Giacchino's score. Like at the start of Star Trek, all the sound goes away and he lets Giacchino play through. That happens a lot in Lost.
And Giacchino's incredibly good at capturing like the bittersweet, like happy, sad, hopeful, depressed moments of movies, and it's just it's so beautiful.
So his Jurassic World score is actually my favorite score in existence.
Interesting.
Yeah, over Jurassic Park.
Oh.
I know, hot take.
Somebody tell John Williams.
I think it's one of the. I described it. I talked to Riley about this, and I said it was like it was almost like the you know how you have athletes with, you know, in like Rocky Balboa, it's kind of the, what would Rocky in his prime be like against the world heavyweight now? And the thing to acknowledge is when someone's been the top of their game decades ago, the new people that are now top of their game won't have existed without that, without people paving the way.
Right.
And I know that when I hear Giacchino move around going like when I hear Giacchino do that, I go, well, that doesn't exist without Jurassic Park score, but it is, for me, a better score. But I know it doesn't exist without the Jurassic Park one. So it's like a footballer now, a soccer player now, is better than the ones that were in the 50s, but they wouldn't be there without them. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but you can hear like the Jurassic score being woven in through that melody. Like you can 100%. Hear it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Got any more Disney for me? Or
sure. Let's see.
It's like every time I see like on the Showdown, anytime that like a Disney question or like a Kevin Smith question is asked, I'm always like, why are you wasting my questions on these people who don't know or don't care?
That's right.
Like, stop it. Like, stop wasting my questions.
You would have
like, it doesn't even have to be asked. Like, anytime I see Kevin Smith on the wheel, I'm like, stop. Like, don't do that.
Do people? Does anybody else in the Showdown put him on, or is it just at random now?
I think I'm the only one who actively puts him on the wheel, aside from when Kevin did it against Chris Jericho, I think. Actually, I don't even know if that's confirmed that he was the one that put it on, or if they just put it on for him. But yeah, I don't think anybody else puts those on other than me.
Yeah, that's fair. That makes a lot of sense. You obviously kill it when it gets on there. Let's find a good Disney one. I mean, this is going to be too easy.
If you're in the chat, what are your favorite scores and soundtracks?
I need to get to Ryan's. He had one Billy Joel request I need to get to at some point.
Yes. Okay, we'll do one more for Disney.
That's just too easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's great that you're getting it so quickly though, because round 2 of Settle the Score is a 5-second round, so you get 5 seconds. So you'd have that easily.
Yeah.
Do you know what bothers me about that song?
Everything.
No, I love it. I mean, it's a great song. It's the same song as Somewhere That's Green from Little Shop. Alan Menken stole his own work, but it bothers me that she knows what the word reprimand means, but not feet
or fire or burn.
Yeah, or fire. Or yeah, burn. She struggles with. Burn. Yeah, but she says reprimand. It's like that. I mean, that's a dynamic of diction, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, to be fair, parents, no matter whether they're on land, air, or sea, will reprimand their daughters.
Yeah.
However, you can't necessarily light a fire underwater. So that I kind of understand. The thing that gets me about Ariel is that she's 16 and claims to be in love with this boy that she just saw. And I'm like, bitch, that's not love. It's fine. But daddy, I love him. No, baby, he's just hot.
That's funny.
It's okay. You can just say that. It's fine.
What do they say instead of burn when someone insults someone in the Little Mermaid realm, do you think?
Well, in 1988, it was probably something not burn. Pretty sure burn came about in like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Oh, yeah. So Ariel gets away with it again.
Burn. That's such a great question. Oh my god.
That's funny.
Now I'm going to be thinking about that all night. Oh, I mean, maybe.
He iced you. That's interesting. Yeah, that's
Maybe.
interesting. Yeah, it's a good one.
Oh, yeah. So he said some cats in Name That Tune used to get answers in one note, but I think there was an accompanying trivia question.
Yeah,
I mean,
we do a context clue because there are situations where you get one note. Yeah.
I mean, that
we
would
do
be
give it.
really interesting.
Yeah, there are some one notes that you can get. Like would you get the would you? I think playing these 2 octaves, would you get the Hamilton opening from just that?
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
think? Yeah, that kind of thing.
100
Jaws.
Yeah, I mean, if
I
you
don't
told
think that
me
was the
that it
note,
was
actually. I think it was
musical theater, I would be like, oh, of course.
Yeah. Are you really, really good with musical theater? Because we're trying to put
I'm pretty decent.
we're trying to put together a Settle the Score just musicals.
You know what? PJ versus Max would be really good at that.
Oh, really?
Like, really good. Well, I mean, Max is a Tony nominated producer. He legit is. Like, he worked on oh my god, what's the name of it? I never got to see it and I'm so angry. It's about the one about the afterlife. Oh my god, why am I blanking on this? I don't know.
No
I'll think of
idea.
it and send it to you later. But like, he's worked on a lot of musicals, and he's been very heavily involved in producing and stuff like that. So I think, yeah. I mean, they're like, if they were like, like the top 50 of all time, I might be able to compete pretty heavily. But if you do like some deep cuts, like if you dove into Matilda, I wouldn't know that unless it was the Maggot song.
I've seen Matilda like 10 times.
See, I had a one of our chips ended up being I think it was the second class of Maggots in Matilda on Broadway, and I got to go see him after a show, but I was only in town for a very short time, so I didn't get to see the show. But also, I'm the only movie with children in it that I absolutely love is School of Rock.
Oh,
That
right,
show was fantastic.
I won lottery tickets to School of Rock and skipped it.
Sad.
Yeah, I mean, you play the lottery for everything, though. When you're in New York for a week, but
yeah, you do.
But yeah, I'm sure it's good. It's difficult. Yeah. It's difficult with movies that you really love being turned into the musical.
I mean, I also got the huge, amazing chance, courtesy of Max Haddad, who got us tickets to the closing night of School of Rock.
Oh,
so
nice.
It was incredibly special. Like 2 rows in front of us at the other end of the aisle were literally all of the kids from the first cast, like in that row, and they were like watching the show, and then like out of the corner of your eye seeing them doing like the choreography and like rocking out and having like the time of their lives. And it was just like, closing nights are just so magical and so emotional to begin with. And so like to see them and to see everybody there. Alex was there, who originated the role of Dewey on Broadway, who then went on to play Beetlejuice and Beetlejuice. And I can't remember what he's doing now. But yeah, I mean, he was there to like send them off, and that was like right when they announced that he got Beetlejuice. So like I ended up getting to see him during intermission and wishing him well, and it was fantastic. But like, yeah, I mean, I think Once is one of my favorite live musicals that I've ever seen. I think the work that they did with just like the lighting and the staging is just stunning. Also, the show is beautiful. And
you want to hear something from you want to hear something from Once?
Yes, please.
What song do you want?
I mean,
the classic.
Yeah.
No problem.
I actually got to see Arthur Darvill play Guy. For those who don't know, he plays Rory on Doctor Who, and I've been deeply in love with him when we got to hang out after the show.
Oh, nice. That's very cool.
It was amazing. His dad was in UB40.
No way.
Yeah. He was the keyboardist.
No way. That's cool. always feel. What was it? Fool me. Fool. I'm no good with lyrics. See? And I can react. And games that never amount to more than they're meant will play themselves out. Take this sinking boat and point it home. We still got time.
Oh,
yeah.
That show is so beautiful. That sounded so good.
Good song. Glenn Hansard.
It's stunning. Both in the movie and on the show. I was actually a little worried because like the movie became such a favorite of mine when it came out, and then it won the Oscar, and it was so fantastic.
Yeah, incredible. I think that's my cue to play your early request, Ryan, whilst Rachel catches up. I think you asked for Honesty. Oh. If you search for tenderness, it isn't hard to find. You can have the love you need to live. If you look for truthfulness, you might just as well be blind. Always seems to be so hard to get. Honesty is such a lonely word. Everyone is so untrue. Honesty is hardly ever heard. Mostly what I need from you. That was my 3 a.m. voice.
Truer words were never spoken.
Yeah, true.
Okay, I feel like I should let you go to bed soon. So we'll do like 10 more minutes, guys. If you have any requests, throw them in. What'd you say?
Oh, whatever you want. I'm wide awake.
Oh, well then, fuck it.
I didn't see Moving Out, and probably would refuse to. Honestly, Ryan.
If you go back about 2 months, I have my friend Tim as a guest on my show, and he is a fantastic talent. He is in so many shows. He played Gaston on tour with me, and he was in Moving Out and had some really fantastic memories of being in that show.
Oh, cool. That's good. I personally, I can't deal with jukebox musicals. It just doesn't, I just can't do it. Like I understand being cast in it would be amazing, and I just from a music creation point of view, it always feels a little unnatural to take a discography and try and work a story out in it. Mamma Mia, I feel the same way about. Although I have seen Mamma Mia, I just couldn't get on board with it. Actually, I don't think you could name any of them, and I could honestly say that I enjoyed them, even the ones that people love, like We Will Rock You. I didn't enjoy.
We Will Rock You is fun if you have the proper amount of alcohol in your system.
Okay, well, this is interesting, right? We'll talk on this. I have a thing. There's a protein in your body called dehydrogenase, and it's the protein that breaks down alcohol. So basically, everyone has varying levels of it, and I guess this isn't anything to do with the culture or anything, but Asians don't have dehydrogenase. It just doesn't exist in their system, which tends to. I used to work for a company that had a lot of. We had a Chinese office, and whenever the Chinese people would come over, they'd get drunk very quickly because they don't have any dehydrogenase in their body.
Mm-hmm.
And I have always been able to handle alcohol very well, to the point where I've actually never had a hangover, never been drunk, and I've never even gotten tipsy. That thing where alcohol weighs more than the water that's in your ears, the water that's meant to balance you, so the alcohol washes around with that water, and that's why you feel like lightheaded. I've not even gotten there. I understand the science behind it, but I've never even gotten there. And people, when they hear this, they go, "Oh, I'll get you drunk. You just haven't hung out with me," or whatever it is. And they go, and they try and plaster me with alcohol, and it doesn't work. I guess 2 years ago, my next door neighbor, who luckily I'm in a detached house, so I'm not keeping him up or anything, but my next door neighbor, Lee, they had a cocktail party, and he's a really good mixologist. And when they host, it's always excellent. And he had all these cocktails, and he knows about the fact that I tend not to get drunk, even though I can drink and drink. And there are certain alcohol that I don't enjoy, and that's because normally it's a thing where you've been a kid and tried to get drunk, and so you develop a flavor for like beer and things like that. But that never happened to me because of that. So I like sugary alcohol, cocktails. And so he basically was like, "Right, tonight's the night, Andy. We're going to send you home drunk. You know, you're going to have a hangover tomorrow. I don't want to, normally when we have these parties in this street, I'm normally looking after their son the next day because they're both awash, and I'm taking Ollie out to play football or whatever." And so Lee says, "Tonight's the night, blah, blah, blah." And he just goes ballistic with hosting and alcohol. It's just drink after drink after drink after drink. Then I'm still really not feeling anything. And so he brings out absinthe, and he shoots an absinthe with me. Nothing. And then literally nothing. I went to bed completely fine. He was wasted. His wife was on antibiotics, so she stayed sober as well. And so her and me are the only like sober ones at this party. And even though I'm drinking so much, about a week later, I get hit with a flu like I haven't really had other than this year, when I likely had COVID back in February. And I got hit with a flu, and it was horrendous. It flattened me. And I had to go to the doctor for it. And they ran some blood tests because it was pretty severe. And they asked if I had had a crazy night. They didn't say it like that, but they asked if I had basically ingested a lot of alcohol. And I said, well, like a week ago, but not this weekend, or, not yesterday. And they basically said, well, your liver enzymes have spiked. Like you've had a really rough night. And they were, what was it? So they wanted to test my dehydrogenase levels. And the dehydrogenase levels are off the chart. They're basically, they said you need to stop drinking like that. And I said, I don't. I'm not like, I'm a social drinker, but I'm not a drinker. But basically I can, they said, here's the words that I remember. And I tell people now that think, oh, I'll get you drunk, no problem. They said, there is an amount of alcohol that will get you tipsy, but you'll die first. Yeah. So basically what had happened that night with Lee was that I got alcohol poisoning from taking in so much alcohol and gone to bed because I didn't feel it. I didn't go unconscious. And normally when people go unconscious with that amount of alcohol in their body, they get their stomach pumped. We need to get that out. And I just went to bed. And so it just destroyed me inside. My God. Yeah, so I basically had alcohol poisoning, but my body didn't shut down from it. And that's why I got flu, and I was fine like a week after. But basically, yeah. So now I know whenever people want to go, like, oh, my whole point is that's probably why I didn't enjoy We Will Rock You.
That's fair. I mean, I saw We Will Rock You. I enjoyed it probably mainly because some friends of mine were in the cast, and I knew going into it what it was. That it was just like a farce and a fun, ridiculous, like outlandish musical, and that's what it was. But when I went to go see, oh wait, did you say We Will Rock You?
Yeah, the Queen one, right?
Oh yeah, no, that's terrible.
Oh,
Oh
thank
my
God. People
God.
love that. They love it.
It's so bad. It's
Yeah,
so bad.
it
Guys,
feels like a
I think I told this.
shoehorn song and story over and over and over again. And if
It's
you're a
just
Queen fan, it's just torture.
the only good thing about that show was the fact that my friend was the head carp, and so the head carpenter for the show, and so she gave me like a backstage like tour before the show started.
Oh, nice.
And apparently Brian May was like very integral with like the forming of the show, and he had donated one of his guitars to the orchestra, like to the band, that plays over the stage, and
Yeah.
I got to wear it and strum it, and
Oh,
that was like the
nice.
most amazing thing. But
That's
then
cool.
I went to watch the show, and nobody told me that it was a 2 drink minimum, not because of the venue, but because of the show quality. And so I walked out at intermission, and thankfully I had been to that venue like about 2 or 3 months before, I think. So the bartenders remembered me because I was constantly in the lobby hanging out with them. And so I walked out, and one of the bartenders was like, "Did you have a drink for that first act?" I'm like, "No." And I'm like, I need two doubles. And she gave
Yeah,
me 2 triples.
yeah.
And then another one before I went in because I finished it. It was, yeah, dude, Rock of Ages. That's the one I was thinking of.
That's
Rock
what
of
you're thinking
Ages
of? Oh, good
is
for him.
so much fun. It's just silly and ridiculous, whereas We Will Rock You is just no.
Yeah, I don't like it. I feel like the people that this is rude. I feel like the people that like We Will Rock You would enjoy seeing a Queen cover band as well. Just like what they enjoyed from the show was just hearing Queen music.
Okay, I've seen a really good Queen cover band. Like they were fucking amazing.
No, but do you know what I mean? They
Yeah.
enjoy it for the Queen music rather than what a musical's trying to do. Like for me, there are certain boundaries in which a musical should sit, and the prime one is when someone breaks out into song, it's to move the story forward. And I feel like
Right.
We Will Rock You failed every song.
It either needs to move the story forward or it needs to have a character progression for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not just because they need to hear another song because it's been
Another
5
Queen
minutes.
song. Yeah, you might as well have been
that
at a
shit's
Queen concert. Yeah.
I mean, I would love to go see Queen, especially with Adam Lambert. Like, I love his voice. I think he's incredibly talented. I love him. He's so pretty. It's fine. Yes, I know. I have massive crushes on gay men. It's my lot in life. It's fine. I've seen Queen cover bands that are better than Adam Lambert singing with the original members. Oh, interesting. I mean, it's like how Journey found that one guy from the Philippines because of
YouTube, right?
YouTube. Like, that's fucking incredible.
Insane, yeah.
You know, anytime anyone is like, "Oh yeah, I'm just doing this little thing," and it's like you never know who's watching ever.
Yeah.
Which is why I always feel bad for shitting on Rock or for shitting on We Will Rock You, and I'm like, someone's gonna send it to one of the guys,
right?
And I'm just gonna never ever be allowed to watch Queen ever.
That
again.
guy that does Freddie covers on YouTube, he actually then provided the voice on in Bo Rap, right?
Well, he was amazing. He even
I can't remember Mark
like
someone. I forget his name.
Yeah, but he looks like him, but he has like the same mouth shape, which is why Freddie's sound was that way. It was because of the acoustics, like orally, like there's a lot of science to it. But yes, no, I mean, anybody who's watched this knows how much I love Queen. I would sell my soul to be able, like, if I could sell my soul and guarantee that I die, or like with the stipulation that I have to die right after the concert, I would do it just to be able to watch the Wembley Stadium concert from side stage. Oh my God. I would probably piss myself and cry like the entire time. I don't care.
Do you have a favorite Queen song?
I mean, Fat Bottom Girls, I feel, is my anthem. That's literally a song that I feel has been written about me before I was born. I mean, all of their songs are they're just so good. I mean, Bicycle is ridiculous, but like you can't help but like get into it.
Yeah,
Like you hear that first bicycle, bicycle, and everyone just like, I want to ride, and like
I know.
everybody starts having fun. Like nobody cares. It's so great.
Yeah.
They have
Yeah,
some
there you go.
heartbreaking
In
ballads.
Bicycle, Freddie mentions 2 John Williams songs, right?
It's true. It's so good. Like who cares?
Yeah, it's good.
Like they're just the best. Ugh, and that concert, like who doesn't want to be, or like talk about like, hearts beating as one during live theater. Like that's 80,000 people at Wembley
Yeah.
going through the same thing at the same time. The energy just it's just unimaginable, like what they got to
Totally.
experience. I just
That stadium doesn't exist anymore.
doesn't it?
No, they redid it. Wembley Stadium is there's a new Wembley Stadium now and a Wembley Arena for bands. But the one from Live Aid doesn't exist anymore. Sadly, it was an incredible place.
That's a fucking travesty.
Yeah,
It really is. Oh, did you play? Somebody had a request earlier for the. I think it was for Charlie Brown.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Skating. You need to hear some of Vince Guardi. Yeah.
This is an issue with me being British. We don't get Charlie Brown.
Have you not seen a Charlie Brown Christmas?
No, I know of it being like everyone's like, you have to watch this at Christmas. It's just not over here.
But you've never seen it.
Never seen it.
Oh, guys!
I have to do it this Christmas. Then it's good timing, I suppose.
It's so good. I mean,
am I not going to enjoy it now?
No,
35?
you absolutely will. It's very
sure?
much about like commercialism and like how the real message of Christmas has kind of been taken away by like buying things, and like it's got the same message as How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yeah.
But with the Peanuts gang, and it's very sweet and it's very lovely. It will make you want to go out and buy like a sad Christmas tree, because like we refer to them as Charlie Brown Christmas trees, because it's like he picks up a Christmas tree and it's just like a stick with like 2 little branches and like no leaves, and it's like very depressing, and he puts like an ornament on it and it just kind of collapses.
A rescue tree. Yeah, cool.
So like the Charlie Brown Christmas tree is very like, yeah, it's a rescue tree. Oh no, I want a rescue dog in my life. It's fine. That shocks me. Now, is there anything like Christmas wise that happens in the UK that you found out doesn't happen in the US and you're shocked about?
Ooh. Well, that's really an interesting question. I don't know. I know my movie plans for like, because cinemas have been shut here throughout November. My plan for Christmas is I'm going to get to London. There's this really incredible cinema that I'm a member of called the Prince Charles, and they put on things like, you'll get like My Neighbor Totoro and just incredible films. They don't obviously stick to the mass releases, but they're putting on It's a Wonderful Life every day throughout December.
Okay.
So that will be. I've never had the chance to see that in a cinema, and I like seeing films that I love in the cinema for the first time. I realized I went to see Scream there on Halloween, so that was just before the cinema shut down, and I realized I hadn't actually seen Scream in a cinema before because of the age, right? Because it came out in 96, so I was 11. So I definitely didn't see it then. And then I've seen Scream 50 times. But yeah, to see it in a cinema was really interesting. And what's interesting seeing it with an audience is they found things funny that I didn't realize were funny. Do you know, it's some interesting, some really, really interesting things
Give me
that happen like that when you are in Scream.
Because, like, I'm the asshole that laughs at the darkest, like, creepiest shit. Like, I have friends that do not go watch movies with me ever anymore.
I can't remember anything particular in Scream. I just remember when people laughed, I was like, yeah, that is funny. Like, but I never got it as a kid or whatever that is, you know. I remember one when I went to see 10 Things I Hate About You in a quote along show. And so people are allowed to say the famous lines, you know, and we're back in the game, that kind of stuff. And when the character Bianca is moping on a tire swing in the garden, everyone was in stitches and they were waiting for it. Like everyone that was that was a huge fan of 10 Things I Hate About You in that cinema, and you've got to be a big fan of the film to go and see a quote along. Everyone was like, this is it. This is the moment where the camera pans down from the window and you see her moping on a tire swing, and then burst out laughing. And I was like, oh yeah, that is a funny shot. That is a really, really funny shot. And I wouldn't have laughed if I'm sat at home on my own. So that's like really interesting things that you get from an audience. It was cool.
I figure that any movie that is re-released into theaters more than 10 years after its release date is an unofficial quote along.
Okay, interesting.
Either that or I'm just like the most massive asshole in any movie theater.
No, I'm sure that's fine.
Well, because like I remember walking out of Scream the first time and being able to quote it almost from front to back.
Yeah.
And then I remember going back and seeing it so many times. I mean, I was 12, so like we're practically the same age, but my parents didn't really give a shit.
Yeah.
They're like, you go see whatever you want. And I'm like, yay, I'm gonna go see a movie about a girl getting killed in her house. Okay, cool.
I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean. Those classic movies, there's probably a little bit of give when you're there. One thing I noticed about Scream, given that it came out in 96, was when Ghostface puts up that trivia question about Friday the 13th and says, no, it was his mother, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's like the first internet troll.
Yeah.
He's like the first asshole that catches you. Like
he was the first Showdown writer.
Right. Yeah.
That was a 2-point question. Motherfucker, you got to listen to that carefully. No, I remember watching that and like knowing the answer and being so proud of myself. Yes, dude, I cannot wait for the day that we get back to the days when we get to go to midnight screenings of Rocky Horror Picture Show. I am going to dress up in all of my finest pleather.
That is a thing that happens here. I've never gone.
I highly recommend it. It is
I'll do
a
Charlie Brown Rocky Horror back to back.
I think you just broke my brain. Like that just I don't know if I'm for this or like if I'm vastly against this for your own like soul. That would
the other quote along I went to was Coming to America, and that was that was an excellent one. The fuck you too line was so loud. It was just magic. Like what a feeling that is to be in a room with people. Like it's a similar feeling to, and you've been to Celebration. It's similar to that, where you look in front of you, behind you, to the left, to the right. Everyone loves the same thing you do for that weekend. Being in a room with people that could quote. It's like I have a lot of T-shirts with very subtle movie references on them. I don't like wearing clothing that like just has Star Wars. But I might wear something that's like subtle. Right. Because if someone goes, hey, cool shirt, whatever, I go, well, now we're best friends. Yeah. If you got that work, that kind of thing. And I guess that's what the Schmodown is, right? It's a lot of people that found each other that all like the same thing. A bunch of people that watched DVD extras. Yeah. When they were growing up, because there's not many people that do that. No. But we're the jerk that would correct you on
the director, the producer, the actor,
I know.
and then go on to tell you 10 different things that the actor was in and like 5 other things that they were in with the other actor. And
Yeah.
like, were those tricks.
I have that thing when I'm around people that they like movies but they don't know movies, where I'm just finishing their sentences because it's all the, oh yeah, and who was that girl that was in and I go, oh, that with the name. Yeah. And it's hard not to be an asshole when you have a whole brain locker full of information. It's hard not to be the asshole. My old boss at my job was talking to me about Star Wars because I had the Force Awakens poster as my background because it was coming up to that release in 2015. And he was like, oh, you're excited about Star Wars then? And I was like, please don't start a conversation with me about Star Wars because I will not come off like a good guy. I know you're just trying to be interested, but what you're going to do is, and then he goes, because this one's not directed by George Lucas, but he did the rest, didn't he? And what do I do? Do I go, yeah, he did the rest, that's fine, or do I correct him? It's a really awkward, horrible thing. I don't know what the best thing is to do. Do I send him home with that nonsense jangling around in his head, or do I tell him, no, actually, hold on, there were lots of directors, actually. Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. It's a weird situation for a film.
I feel like in those instances when they ask a question, it's okay to like correct them as long as you're not being a total knob about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, so you mentioned how you wear shirts with like a subtle nod to it and you're like, oh, we're friends. Are there movies that you find yourself quoting that nobody else loves or really knows about, that like if somebody references that or understands that reference, you're like, we're instantly friends?
Yeah, I bet there are.
Sure.
No, my actual, when people say what's your favorite movie, that is a really difficult question because for film fans it can change every week.
Yes.
I actually have a favorite movie. The reason it is my favorite movie, I have to just acknowledge that for myself. Not only do I love it and I've seen it so many times, the reason it's my favorite movie is because no one's seen it. It's such a great feeling to just have that one thing that's mine, and accept the fact that I'm such a film fan. In my circles, I'm the most knowledgeable about films. Obviously, within the Showdown, I'm way down on the totem pole, but in the circles that I run with, I'm the go-to for a film suggestion that night. So the fact that it's my favorite film, a lot of people in my world have seen it now because they're desperate to find out what would make him say that's his favorite movie. But that movie is Ryan Reynolds in The Nines. Do you know that movie?
I'm not even joking. Hold on.
This is.
Oh, you mean this?
Mental. I fucking love that movie.
Are you kidding me?
It's my favorite movie.
Okay,
it's my favorite movie.
First of all, I have been in love with Ryan Reynolds since he was in Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place, and
Same.
I saw that movie on like a discount counter, like shelf in some like Blockbuster or something, and I was like, oh, I've never seen this Ryan Reynolds movie, and I bought it, and I fucking love it.
It's unbelievable.
So
thank goodness.
Good.
Listen to this. I can actually play Knowing, the theme Knowing from the TV show.
Yeah.
That's the notes that are playing on the piano that he. Yeah, that's it. I honestly, I love that movie. I've seen that movie so many times.
Melissa McCarthy's in that movie. Guys, if you haven't seen The Nines, please go watch it. It is so
cool.
good. It's not necessarily a comedy like you would expect with Ryan Reynolds. But
it's a genre splicer, isn't it? It has everything.
It is definitely cerebral, and I absolutely love it. It's so good. Highly recommend it. It's definitely one of those movies that like people see on my shelves and they're like, huh? And I'm like, no, just watch it. It's fine.
Yeah, I honestly was seeing things in that movie. The 5th, 6th time I saw it, I was seeing new things, new clues, and it's honestly a film. There are. This would be an interesting question for you as well. But I've had twice in my life have I walked out of seeing a film at the cinema and gone straight back in to see it again twice.
Okay,
that was and so weird that I just remembered they were the same year. Were they the same year? No, they weren't. Surely not. No, they weren't. No. Fight Club is one of them. I came out and went back in, and
Yes.
The Matrix was another one, and that was just being like, it was just a cool movie for a 14-year-old to see.
Well, yeah.
Were they the same year? 99? I don't remember.
Right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that, so I was just in that age where I wanted to go see films twice at the cinema, but the Nines, there's a scene where they're sat on the sofa together about 2/3 into the movie, and there's a reveal that happens in that moment, and I stopped the film and I started again. I just couldn't help. So the first time I ever watched the Nines, I stopped it 2/3 of the way in and I started it again, and that's the only time that's ever happened. Other than like films that I've struggled to get through, I just couldn't go forward without seeing what that first 2/3 would have been like with the information that I just received in that scene. I just couldn't help it. I went right back and watched it again, and I still see things. You know, I had this like fantasy that my favorite ever film would be The Nines, and I'll watch it 9 times and never watch it again. But then someone says to me, I've never seen it. Is it any good? And I want to watch it with them. And now I've seen it probably 20, 25 times.
You can't limit yourself to a number of times that you could watch.
No, it was just with the amount of times the Nine shows up in that movie, it's just a little fantasy. But yeah. We live a crazy life here in England, just fantasizing about how many times we watch a movie.
Yeah, but, I love The Nines. I think of one of my favorite movies that nobody has seen, like a movie that if anybody references, I'm instantly like, we're best friends, is Out Cold. It's so stupid and so much fun. It's basically like a snowboard comedy of, you've seen it, obviously.
I haven't seen it. No? I was pretending to reach to my DVD shelf.
It's so good. It's right there.
I will watch it. Hold on. Now I've got 3 things to...
But it's basically like a comedy version, very, very loosely based on Casablanca. Like if you go into it thinking about Casablanca, you see the similarities between it, but it's so fucking funny. It's Zach Galifianakis' first movie.
No way.
It's so funny. It's so funny. There's a portion that my mother literally will run downstairs when she hears it starting. She goes, put it back to the scene, and like we have to like restart a scene for her because she laughs so hard at it.
No way.
It's so funny.
That's funny that it's the film you have that's like that is Out Cold, and it's Zach Galifianakis, like his early role, and the Nines is Melissa McCarthy, and they are kind of the his and hers version of each other in that they're both very, very strong actors that get typecast in like comedic flubbery roles. Yeah. But actually they're very strong, both of them. I mean,
this is also like a very comedic flubbery role for him. Like it's a very like college bro type movie. But it's so funny. I love it. But one movie that I love, like to the depths of me, that was very limited release, apparently, or was very limited in the theaters here in the US, is Waking Ned Divine.
Okay.
You ever see it? It's about these 2 old. It takes place on an island off the coast of Ireland.
Wait, Waking Ned. I think they must have changed the title because we have a film called Waking Ned.
Huh?
Do you reckon Divine was added about a guy who wins the lottery and dies?
Yeah, it was just his last name, Waking Ned Divine.
That's so funny. It must have been a commercial thing because it's just called Waking Ned here.
Interesting. But like, I love that movie. It's such a simple concept. This guy wins the lottery and dies. And then these 2 best friends discover his body and find that he died because he had a heart attack because he won the lottery.
Yeah.
And they decide to claim the lottery and split it up amongst the town because the lottery is going to come to their island to like check up and make sure that this is the guy who won. And it's just this sweet little story, and it's so good. And the cast is fantastic. It's such a sweet movie.
Yeah, very cool movie. Yeah, that's so funny that little things like that with the title changes.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I have it on my shelf. Where is it? Oh, it's probably downstairs. My mom likes
Ned Divine. That's so funny.
It's so beautiful, guys. Go watch it. My mom actually listens to these shows, and she'll like take notes about the things that we talk about. And I feel like she just doesn't need to this show because we're just talking about all of the stuff that she loves.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I'm glad. Well, hi to her.
Hi, Mom. I actually think I kicked her offline so that this could keep going.
Oh, funny, funny.
Sorry, Mom. I'm very jealous of you, Ryan, that you own the DVD set.
Yeah, I have the box set, the 4 seasons right there.
Yeah,
The DVD has the there were 3 different endings and people could vote for the final episode. You know, remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so we were having the episodes air on a cable channel called Trouble in the UK. And it was like Fresh Prince. It was like Fresh Prince, Hang Time, and then Two Guys a Girl. And and I remember the episodes had that kind of that vote for your favorite ending kind of disclaimer, but it was out of my remit. In the UK, there was no chance of me having a say. But I remember that being a thing, and it was who was pregnant, wasn't it? Out of Irene, Ashley, and what's her name? Sharon.
It's been so long since I've seen that show. Like literally, like since it was on TV. Like I haven't seen it since it was on TV.
Oh wow!
But, like that was the spark that lit that love for Ryan Reynolds under my butt, and now I just watch everything he's in and love him, and he's wonderful and Canadian.
Have you got a favorite performance of Mr. Reynolds?
I mean, aside from just the fact that he is Deadpool in the way that, Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark. I mean, he's just, it makes me laugh so hard and just puts a smile instantly on my face. Harloff hates that movie, but it's
which movie? Sorry,
Just Friends.
Oh yeah.
It's one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. It makes me laugh so hard. It is perfectly cast. Like anytime that Anna Faris is on screen, like I just cry laughing. And like the mix between the two of them, and between him and Chris, I can't remember his last name. No, the guy who plays his brother.
Oh yeah. Oh god,
he's also in Fanboys, which is another one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, I can't remember that kid's name. Yeah.
Fuck, it's Chris Marionette or something like that.
Right.
I love him so much. He's so funny. But literally, great. Just the relationship between the two brothers makes me laugh so hard because I'm in the middle of 3 daughters.
Right.
And so like we have a very aggressive relationship between the 3 of us, and so like. Every time that he like sits on him, he's like, "You've always been fat to me, Chris." Like, just makes me laugh so hard. Like Christmas morning happens, and he comes and like brings him a cookie, and they like, truce, I love you, Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Like it's just so aggressive and so funny.
Very good film.
Yeah, it's so good. There are so many great British films that didn't get enough recognition. Brassed Off. Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, good film.
Brassed Off was really good. Though. I mean, we did get the full Monty from you guys, so thank you for that.
Yeah. How does those kind of films go over in terms of like accent and stuff like that? Because it's quite thick, the full Monty accent, Sheffield, I believe.
I mean, stuff like that has never bothered me personally. Mm-hmm. I know a few people who like need subtitles for it just because it is so thick, and like it's usually said so like the words are said so quickly that it's hard for them to get a grasp on them.
Right.
But I don't know, I've always been able to like catch on super quick. I think that's why I love touring so much, because I love like listening to different dialects throughout the country, and like even going over to like Canada or Europe, like no matter what country I went to, I loved hearing it, and I was always able to pick up whether or not I understood every single word, like I understood the meaning behind it and like what they were trying to say. So, it never really bothered me. I know that those movies don't do terribly well here in the US, or they didn't used to. But like a lot of my movies that I find myself going back to and watching, like for comfort, like I love like our British movies, and I love Calendar Girls. I love Ladies in Lavender, like Calendar. Give me any of the old British, dames. Give me all of the old British ladies. Like I love them so much. They're so saucy. They make me so happy.
Did you see that there were 4 English dames in a movie about 2 years ago, and it was a documentary, and it was just the 4 of them sat in a garden talking about. What was that?
What was it called? the funniest British ladies, I think. Hold on, I know I have it here somewhere.
Yeah, it's just them like hanging out and
It
talking
is
about being.
it is the cutest thing. It's Dame Judy Dench. It's Maggie Smith, Dame
Maggie
Maggie
Smith,
Smith.
yeah.
Oh my god, I literally used to have this on a file on my desktop. We could literally just like sit back and watch it. It's so fucking funny. And they all talk about like their ex-husbands and like
Yeah.
their work in theater. And it's so beautiful. Fuck. What is it? I think it was like the British Ladies Who Lunch or something like that.
Well, they might have changed the title. Yeah, interesting.
Huh. No, I mean anything. I mean, I've been in love with Maggie Smith since I was very, very young when I first saw Hook. Because she is Wendy Darling, you know? She's just so sweet and you see her and just like, you just want to, yeah, because they're not dames like a New York dame, like a dame, like
what's a New York dame?
In the US, dame is more of like a dame over there, like some chick. Yeah, it's not anything of like regal, like or like a title. Yes, Helen Mirren is one of them.
Okay.
I can't remember who's the third or who's the fourth.
Yeah.
Because one of them was like going blind and it was so sad. She like, oh, and when they bust out the champagne and they all start getting a little bit drunk, oh my God. Just literally to be a fly on the wall with those women, I would die happy.
Yeah.
Oh God. Those movies are so
right.
good.
All right. Okay. I got Ryan's reference, Guys and Dolls. Okay.
Wait, what? Like Guys and Dolls song, there's nothing like, yeah, there's nothing like a dame. Yeah. 100%. Okay. I forgot that was Guys and Dolls. For some reason, I was like, isn't that South Pacific? No. Although they use dame in South Pacific quite a lot.
That's interesting.
Like it's a very like 40s, 50s type word. It's like broad.
Right. Yeah.
I love that term. Oh, call me a dame, call me a broad. Yeah, that totally applies.
Right. That's funny.
I don't think they ever had like nicknames like that for guys though. It's just so sad because those words are so beautiful and colorful.
Isn't Guys one of them?
Guy,
it's not,
Joe. They use like Joe as like a dude type term.
Yeah.
But there's no like broad version for guys.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
I know what you mean.
I mean, Saul, we try. We try to sound like you.
Is that Saul?
That's the one and only. That's the one and only Saul. Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Saul.
Saul, Andy, Saul. I like to make introductions on screen. That's always fun. There is.
He's saying about me trying to a sign of what I know what he sounds like. I've heard him plenty of times on phone-ins and Showdown and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Saul is definitely the male version of a broad, and I say that with all of the love and respect that it deserves. Like, Saul, Saul's my boy. It's fine. Oh, I was right. Yay!
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, you got it.
See, I wouldn't do too bad on that.
Yeah, you'd be perfectly fine. Yeah, I think at the moment it's Ashley Robinson showed interest in doing the musicals episode.
Taylor?
What did I say?
You said Robinson.
Who's Jason Inman's wife?
Oh, Ashley.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Ashley. She's so sweet.
She's great. Yeah. So she showed an interest in doing musicals. So yeah.
And there was a can you tweet that so I can pin it? Yeah. That you're the male version of a broad? I will, of course. Yeah, there were a few questions that were asked when we were still like, this is probably like 2 years ago when we were, when we were still doing in studio matches for the Showdown, and there was one question that came up that I was shocked that I was the only one in studio who knew what they were talking about, and it was I think it was a 2-point musical question, and like we're off to the side, and like everybody's has their phone out and like they're typing answers or like writing notes down, whatever, and the question came up, and I went over to I was like I knew it instantly, so I went over to Bibiani and Draco, and they were like had their heads together like trying to figure it out. I'm like, do you guys know what this is? They're like, no, do you? And I'm like, yeah, of course I do. And the question was in which Gene Kelly movie do you see him do an iconic dance with Jerry the Mouse? And I was like, oh my god, how do you not know this? Like it's literally referenced in every like musical montage. Like it's all that clip is always there. And neither of them got it. And I just felt so proud of myself for knowing it. And it's Anchors Away, by the way.
That is good information. No, I wouldn't have gotten that. You do very well on the, what's this?
Nothing Look like at you, Ryan Kramer. Nothing like a dame. Yes, Eileen Atkins. That's
okay.
Joan Plowright. Are you sure?
Don't know who that is. Don't know who that is.
Huh. Interesting.
Tea with the dames in the US. Ah.
Yep. Well, they start with tea and then they work their way to champagne because they're broads deep down.
What does tea mean to you? Like a drink, like cup of tea?
Yeah.
Okay. Over here, you can have a cup of tea like that, or tea can mean like it's almost similar to an early dinner. You can have your tea. Do you have that there as well?
No, we eat like hobbits. We just constantly eat. I mean, at least I do.
But you still have breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
We have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, like societal wise. But in 2020, I've become a hobbit, and I have first breakfast and second breakfast and brunch, and then first lunch, and you get sad, you eat. It's fine. You get bored, you eat. I don't know what to tell you. But no, I mean, like when it comes to like the Brits and like tea, like I very much understand that it's like, it's not just like sitting down for a cuppa. Like it's, it's snacks and I love the Brits.
Oh, great.
Oh my God. If I go back to London one more time, I just might stay.
Oh yeah.
Like, I love London so much. Yes, Ryan. And now we have Spilling the Tea. Spilling the Truth.
Yeah, Spilling the Tea, but it's like the letter T.
It's the letter T, but there's always that the gif of Kermit the Frog like sipping tea like with this pinky out,
Right.
Okay, no, I love London. It makes me so happy. Like when I went to visit in January, was it February?
February.
Last time I saw you, or the first time we met, my hotel was literally right off Trafalgar Square. And like just every morning I would wake up and walk through Trafalgar Square to like my favorite restaurant that I found to have breakfast at. And it's like this sweet, like 2/4 of a mile or like half a mile, like 2/3 of a mile away from the hotel. And it's this beautiful walk through like shops and, you walk through the theater district and it's just, you find the shop and you sit down, you have your breakfast and you get free Wi-Fi everywhere. And I fucking love that place. It's so beautiful.
That's very cool. I'm glad you do. I have people that I know very personally that don't love London as much as you. I try and sell London to people. English people don't love London if they don't live there. They tend to find it dirty and, my cousin who might end up watching this, him and his wife love New York and despise London. And they say that London is like dirty. They feel like they need to wash after they've been there. And my answer to them when I heard this was that it's been around like about 2,000 years longer than New York.
Yeah.
So in 2,000 years, New York could be dusty too.
Well, as somebody who has great affection for both cities, New York is definitely the dirtier city. Like, I don't find myself walking down the street in London and having to mindfully avoid the 3 to 7 foot tall wall of trash bags.
Yeah, I think they mean more like it's like soot. Like there's like a dust in London, which is definitely true, but it's old. It's very old.
There may be dust in London, but there is massive smog in New York. Like,
yeah.
We're semantics. It's 6 one way, half a dozen the other.
Sure.
But I also love London for the pure fact that I got to see while I was out there. I got to see the gender swap version of Company.
Right. Okay.
And I got to meet Patti LuPone, and I
wow.
sat front row for the show and like just wept the entire time because that musical is so near and dear to my heart. It was also like 8 weeks before my 35th birthday, so I was really feeling it. And the fact that Bobby was a female, I was just like going through a lot. And then I went to the stage door afterwards, and like one of the I can't remember, I think it was the guy who played Jamie, came out and he saw me and he was like, "Oh my God, you were in the front row, you were living your life tonight." And I was like, "Yeah, I was."
Cool.
We
That's so nice.
struck up this sweet little friendship and hung out for a few minutes, and then Patty came out and I met her, and she literally looks, oh, don't even start with me, Ryan. Bobby, baby, Bobby. That show.
Nice.
I can't wait for it to reopen on Broadway.
I'm glad you had that experience. Do you know what I find very strange, having been there, is there's no London setup in Vegas. Do you know, that's weird, isn't it? You have Paris, you have the Eiffel Tower, you have like New York setup, you have like Venice. Egypt.
Well, you used to have Venice.
But no, you would expect the London Eye and like the Gherkin, like the Tower Bridge, and like walk across a mini version of Tower Bridge or something.
Yeah, I find it bizarre that there's London and Tokyo there, but there's not.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. If I came into a lot of money, I would definitely set up a traditional London hotel in Vegas, because there must be tons of Americans that will never ever travel across to London that would love to get a taste of it, right? With like black cabs and like a Beefeater Soldier and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I think it would go down very well.
I will tell you this right now, that if you do this, and if you have your bars and and pubs manned by men from London, and like all that the whole UK, like I will never leave.
What,
like,
Vegas?
I will just live there.
Right.
Because I don't like, I used to joke that if I ever went to like Ireland or London or like the UK, I would just end up having to send for my things, because I can't not, like, there's just something about that accent and just like the whole mentality that like it's so easy for me to fall in love with it. It's just so nice.
It's interesting.
Wonderful.
It's interesting, like conversing with you like over 2.5 hours, because I can tell that you have a little bit of Anglophilia about you, and in terms of you pick up on my jokes quick. When I'm on with Matt Nost and Mark Riley, and the guests that we've had, Rachel Cushing, Darina, Mark Andreyko, I can tell, and my cousins that watch Settle the Score have said they don't catch your jokes. They don't get it. There's something off about my humor timing that's not, it doesn't like wash with the American ear. I think you have to be immersed in because if you ask Matt, maybe he hasn't seen like things like The Office and things like that our humor really transferred over there. With people like Ricky Gervais. But yeah, it's quite interesting on Settle the Score when they just don't, like, I'll say something, mostly it's sarcasm, so it'll be like, say Darina, this didn't happen, but say Darina will go, "Oh, Andy, I love the way you play piano. I haven't played piano since I was 6 years old." And I'll go, "Yeah, neither have I." And she just doesn't, and it just dies. They're like, "What? What do you mean?" It's too dry. It's too that's what the humor in England's like. It's very dry. and it doesn't seem to catch their ear. They're quite confused by it. That happens quite often on Settle the Score. So I stay quiet now, but I can tell like you get it better, which is probably why we got on so well when we did meet in Chicago. Not when we actually got to chat more in Chicago.
When we actually got to meet and like converse. Yeah.
Yeah, because you and Catherine, I ended up spending a bit of time with, and we were all getting on very well. It was obvious that, that it clicked very fast. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just something about, I mean, first of all, I love to laugh. And so I love being able to find the humor in a lot of things, maybe which is why my friends don't go to movies with me, because I find humor in everything. Even things that I probably shouldn't, which are incredibly dark. But I do like, it's funny because like I didn't grow up watching, Life of Brian or any of those like any of the circus movies. Like I never grew up watching them. I started watching Doctor Who like 9 years ago and like became incredibly addicted to it. Like I have a Doctor Who tattoo. Like
no way.
Yeah, I have a quote from Firefly, Encircle Gallifreyan, on my arm.
Okay.
I was actually in oh my god, where is it? I went to the Doctor Who museum like the day before the 50th anniversary. I was very upset that I flew out on the 50th anniversary. I didn't stay for that because that would have been amazing. I met Arthur Darvill and like literally like yelled at him about how wonderful he is and how he's destroyed me and my friends forever in regards to men, because Rory is like the most perfect man in the entire world and he plays him beautifully and he's super attractive. And I was like, but anyways, what were you saying? There's just something about Brits that I just get along with them. And I love that humor. Also, like Netflix has made it super available to like see British comedians and like understand like, and like kind of get into that rhythm that they have. And it's super nice. I don't know. Totally. I love it. Like I'm also a sucker for a blue collar worker and that accent I don't know. Maybe it's just a thing that I have. It's fine.
Right. That's good. Yeah, I tend to watch more stand-up comedy from your end of the world. I don't get on very well with British stand-up comics. I find their humor very I need humor to be a little bit it needs to be a bit edgier for me, and it also needs to have an undertone of something to think about. Mm-hmm. So the best stand-up comic makes people laugh on very different levels. There's the level that some people are getting it, well, probably most of the people are getting it, that it sounds like a dick joke or something. Mm-hmm. And then there's this other layer where people don't realize that it's actually about the economy or something. So that kind of stand-up comedy really works for me. And British people tend to do, the most famous British stand-up comics tend to do just the observational stuff. Like stuff that I grew out of when I was a kid, like Lee Evans, this like classic Lee Evans joke where he goes, I went into my hotel room and there was a sign on the door saying, do not disturb. I thought, fuck, I can't get out. And like that kind of joke I found funny when I was 12. And then now I'm out, I've grown out of it. But that's what comedy is like in Britain still. Stand-up comedy hasn't evolved, actually. And probably Ricky Gervais is the only one, but I think most people don't consider him a stand-up comic over here. His shows are like concerts rather than stand-up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's quite interesting.
I mean, I think Eddie Izzard is deeper than most people think. Like,
yeah, Eddie's insane.
Yeah, I remember, I can't remember when I watched it, but I remember watching Dressed to Kill, and just like falling in love with Eddie Izzard and being like, this is the man who I love. And he's just so good. And I mean, I think he was the first British stand-up that I ever saw that I was like, this guy gets it. Like, I totally understand everything he's saying on every level that he's talking about. And also, who doesn't love a man in drag doing comedy?
Yeah. Yeah, Eddie's incredible and different to what you get now with these week after week you get an hour special from someone who's crafted it and workshopped it. Eddie, obviously, Eddie's never written a joke down. He comes on stage not knowing what he's going to say. He actually doesn't know whether he's going to be in drag or not until a few minutes before he goes on or whatever. If you went to see Eddie one night and then the next night it would be different shows. I'm assuming he has some sort of structure base, but yeah, that's what he's known for, these completely improvised sets that don't sound like improvisation. He just talks and talks and talks, thinks very quickly, like Robin Williams. I think he's probably the Robin Williams of the UK in that sense. Fair. Yeah, but Robin was obviously a genius.
I mean, we can say that now because he's passed and hasn't been able to prove us wrong. But yes, the things that he did while he was with us were
that's
fucking flawless. Fair I remember having Live at the Met memorized by the time I was 8 years old.
Right.
Like the entire show.
Yeah.
And no 8-year-old should memorize that. or laugh at everything, knowing what the jokes are. Like, guys, it's just weird. But like, yeah, I remember watching that and then finding out that Robin Williams had a son named Zach, and I was like, I will marry Zach so that Robin Williams and my dad can give speeches at the weddings together, because my dad was super funny. Right. I could tell a really great story, and I would have loved to have like sat back at my wedding and like watched Robin and my dad like converse and just crack each other up, like just having them go back and forth. Like that was the dream.
Wow.
Shit happened and it didn't, so still have that in my memory. It's fine. Yeah, dude, Trust Kill was fantastic. Yeah.
I just before we move, I do appreciate Ryan's comment. Don't stay quiet. I appreciate that. Yes. I don't know if I knew that Ryan watched Settle the Score, but he obviously does. That's a very nice thing to say.
Also, as long as you know you're being funny and not offensive to anybody, fuck them. Keep making the jokes.
Oh yeah. It's just it's not an issue. Actually, Matt's getting me more and more. You can see it if you watch the 11, 12 episodes of Settle Score back to back. You'd see how Matt is starting to pick up on my humor a little bit more. But he's genuinely so easy to do anything with. He's so good. Like when I need a second, there's never dead air with him. He's just so on it. It's a very interesting talent and an underappreciated one, I think, in that, I'm playing music and that's easy to see whether it's good or bad. But when you're, like yourself as well, like people that hold their own on a show, I can't go and host a show, without someone like Matt or Riley, I guess. I couldn't do it. Matt is particularly good at that thing.
Yeah. Matt's amazing. I remember when we came over to London for the show, I was waiting in the line to go through customs, and I have my, so it's like a 9-hour flight from LA, or 10.5-hour flight from LA to London. And you land and you're exhausted and your joints are like trying to like move again after not moving for 10.5 hours. And, you watched movies and you drank a little bit and you slept and you're just kind of groggy, whatever. Got my headphones and walking through the line, staying in line. And I look up from my phone and I like make eye contact with Matt and his wife. And I'm just like, hey, how are you? And we just like start this like weird, awkward conversation as we're getting closer in line to each other in the customs line, and then pass. And then we wait until we come back around. And we started the conversation again until we pass.
That's funny.
And then I was like ready to go up, and I was like, yeah, I'll wait for you guys. Let may as well ride the train in together. Like it's an hour, whatever, 45-minute train ride from the airport to downtown. And so I get out of line, and like 10 minutes go by, 20 minutes go by, 30 minutes go by, and I'm like, what the fuck happened? Like, this is literally, I'm like sitting in the only exit. The only way that they could come out was past me. And like 45 minutes go by, and they finally like come up, and Matt goes, I told them I was here to work. And I'm like, you idiot. Right. You were like asking for a visa. And I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, this is why you need a manager.
Yeah.
Like, it was so funny. And then we had like such a great talk on the way in, and like they're just the best. I miss Matt on the Showdown. I remember I was there for his last match, and he was getting ready to leave, and I was like, can you do it for me just one more time? And he did a shuffle. He did like the soft shoe shuffle, and I was like, it just makes my heart happy. Like doing that little like Bugs Bunny soft shoe, like that he does.
Yeah,
it's so
funny.
great.
It was funny. Yeah, I don't think he'll be coming back.
Yeah, no, he's definitely not.
He's done.
I mean, he would be great to have it at the table for like a match.
Yeah.
And that would make me so incredibly happy. But like, yeah, no, he's not coming back to compete.
Yeah, That he I think he makes, whenever we have a Showdown competitor on Settle the Score, I think at the start he always references the fact that they don't have to do any kind of wrestling entrance. It was the bane of his existence in that trivia contest.
Yeah, he would just let Roka go first and like crowd the camera, and then Matt would just float, like slightly slink to his feet. It was great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I love Saul. Eddie Izzard and Martin Sheen are the only two celebrities that I've met that I fucking totally geeked at. I don't know if I've geeked out. I remember breaking down and crying on Jim Belushi.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Mainly, well, my dad had passed, I think, like 4 or 5 months before, and like my dad very much reminded me of Jim Belushi, and also like Return to Me is one of my favorite movies. And he's in it, and it's lovely. And I saw him getting out of a car, walking into a restaurant with his like 3 or 4 like just stunningly beautiful daughters. Like the girls got out, and like to anybody who didn't know that they were his daughters, they just thought that he was just a fucking pimp.
Right.
these young like early 20s, mid 20s girls like get out and go into this restaurant, and he like tips he like hands over his keys to the valet, and like literally we bump into each other as we walk up, because all I saw was from the back and just like this broad guy get out of a car, and we bump into each other, and he spoke, and his voice is unmistakable, and I just like stood there talking to him for a second. I was like, I just want to let you know, like, I know you've got dinner, but like Return to Me is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it's just so sweet and wonderful, and watching the relationship between you and Bonnie Hunt, and I like started talking, and then without knowing, I just started crying. And he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, you just remind me of my dad a lot. And my dad just passed away. And he literally just like bear hugged me and just like let me weep into his suit for like 3 minutes. And his daughters like came out. They're like, are you okay? And I'm like, he's like, I got this. It's fine. I just like cried. I'm like, I am so sorry. Like, I don't know what happened. He's like, it's totally okay. He was so sweet about it.
That's nice. That's a nice moment.
I don't think I've freaked out. I think I have freaked out celebrities that I've met by not being freaked out.
Interesting. I had a moment with Oscar Isaac on Oxford Street in London, and we had obviously both seen the same show. So it was Whose Line Is It Anyway? Right.
Okay.
You know the Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah.
So it it was playing in London with Ryan Stiles and Colin Mockery. It was like live.
Oh my God.
And yeah, it was excellent. And afterwards, there's a big crowd out on Oxford Street. And I saw Oscar, and he pretty much looked nonchalant, big beard.
Mm-hmm.
And it was 2017. So I think he's in London for The Last Jedi. And or no, it was end of 2016, so I think he's filming then, maybe. Anyway, I can't remember. And he's got a big beard, so maybe he's doing like ADR or something. And his friend sees that I've seen him.
Yeah.
And I just kind of mouthed like that. Is that him? And his friend went like that. And so I went over to him, and no one had been. I don't know if you could find most people on the street that would know who Oscar Isaac actually is. I think because we're film fans, we know, but
yeah.
So I started walking towards him, and in my head, I'm just going, don't mention Star Wars. Like, what's the point? Like,
just walk up to him.
Like, if there's any opportunity, I've had moments where I've met people that that I've bonded with like I talked about with you and Matt, where I've been to something as a fan and actually gotten on well with the people, and it's then you've breached that fan to artist line, and that's obviously how I went out on tour with that guy, because I got through I'm more than a fan. I'm actually maybe on your level a little bit.
Yeah.
And with Oscar, I thought, if I'm going to end up being friends with Oscar Isaac, I've got to not mention Star Wars, right? So I went up to him, and I won't, I don't want to draw attention to you or anything. I just wanted to let you know that Ex Machina was my favorite film of 2015. And I could see he went like that, like, whoa. He was like, oh, that's really cool, man. Thank you. I was like, yeah, no worries.
I love those instances where you can surprise somebody with like your favorite movie of theirs, where they're like, really? But like in a good way, because I've had a bad experience with loving a movie and telling one of the actors that's in it that I love that movie, and them being like a total dick about it, which was really fun, because then I got to yell at them. It was great. Yeah, the girlfriend got to watch me tear into them and rip them a new asshole. It was fantastic.
Oh, no way.
But I think my favorite one was I ended up getting, again, at the hotel cafe, I went to go see Butch Walker. And this was literally a year and a day after the last time I went. So it was like 2 days after my 22nd birthday. My friends got a table. They had reserved a table for us. There's like 3 long tables at this place, and the rest is standing room. So we got the front 6 chairs of this one table, and the back 4 were reserved for another party. So I'm sitting at the back of, so if the stage is here and then the table comes out, we were the first 6, and I was at the back on the inside of the chair. So there was 2 more seats on my side, and then across there was 2 more.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting facing my group, facing the stage, not noticing what's going on. And they're like, when you can tell that somebody's like trying to get to your seat, like to their seat, and it's like next to you, like you can hear them, you can like feel them nearby. So I felt people like shuffling and like trying to get into their seat. So I shuffled my seat, and the girl that I was talking to went ghost white. She lost all blood in her face. Her jaw hit her lap. She was in total shock. I'm like, are you okay? Like, what the fuck happened? Like, do you need water? Like, and she just goes, oh my God, Tommy Lee just sat down right behind you. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. It's my birthday. You don't get to fuck with me. And she's like, no, I swear to God. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. And so like, I heard our waitress like coming around to the tables, and I went to signal her to like bring us another round. And as I turned, Tommy's face is right here. And I'm just like, when the waitress comes back, can you tell her we need some drinks? Thanks. And turned around and like lost my mind. We ended up talking for a while. And then like some singers were coming on and doing like 3 or 4 songs, like, because it was like a Butch Walker and Friends night. So like Vanessa Carlton came on, and
oh wow.
Who else? There was a whole bunch of like recording artists that like Butch was friends with that just like showed up to do a few songs. And so right before Butch's set, I'm talking with Tommy, and like we're having a really good time. He's such a great guy. So we start talking, and I go, oh, by the way, just so you know, when Butch Walker comes on stage, you don't exist. So just don't talk to me. And he's like, are you fucking kidding me? And I'm like, no, I didn't pay to come here and see you. I came to see him. Like, shut the fuck up. So like he walks on, and like Tommy starts like cheering for him, and he like says something, and I'm like, what did I say? And I just turned around. He laughed so hard.
That's great.
We ended up running into each other a few times after that, and he always remembered me. He was so sweet.
That's very cool.
Yeah, but I love being the guy who's not a yes man to celebrities, because then they like respect you, and it's funny.
Right.
At least the way that I do it. Don't be an asshole to people, for celebrity or not. Used to watch the British Who's line with Clive Anderson.
Yeah.
Before the US version started. Oh,
yeah,
man.
I forgot it existed here first. Yeah. That's right.
I don't think I've seen Clive Anderson's name in like 15 years.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I read that, I was like, oh yeah, he's a guy.
Yeah.
He's a human. I remember that guy. Yeah, dude, there's so much. I mean, I very much appreciate the fact that after the when the elections were starting, I believe you messaged me and said that there was a room ready for me
Oh yeah, that's right.
over
Yeah,
in the UK. I
yeah.
just want to let you know
We made a spare room ready for you if it all went wrong. Yeah, that's right.
I very much appreciate that.
Yeah.
As soon as I can travel, I will be taking you up on that guest room because I need to come visit. It's been 2 years too long. I love that place.
100%. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I was going to ask, because of your Tommy Lee story, have you do you know the song? I'm going to play it to you. Okay. Do you know the song Woody Allen Jesus? Have you ever heard that song, Woody Allen Jesus?
The name of the song does not ring any bells, but the song might.
So I at a Christmas work do like 3 or 4 jobs ago, long time ago, I played this song. Everyone asked me to get up and do a song. I got up and did Woody Allen Jesus. And because it was Christmas. And I hope I remember how to play it. But basically, they fired me the next day. And I got to tell the person that wrote the song
that the song got you fired.
I got fired, yeah. And I said, you owe me a job. And that's another circumstance. Every time I've met this guy, he's like remembered. And it's one of my favorite people in the world. And actually, he did a live stream from Sydney tonight.
Oh, nice.
Coolest dude ever, Tim Minchin, who wrote Groundhog Day, actually. My voice has started to scratch. But I'll play a little bit of Woody Allen Jesus. So this song is written like a babushka doll, where it's like expands every verse a little bit. Sorry. And so it's just about Jesus and how he relates to now, I guess.
Okay,
here we go.
Jesus was a Jewish philosopher, had a lot of nice ideas about our existential fears, much admired by his peers, short and Jewish and quite political, often hesitant and very analytical. Praise be to Jesus, praise be to Woody Allen Jesus, Woody Allen Jesus. Right, so that's the song. So he describes Jesus and then says who he's actually talking about. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Jesus was a great entertainer, doing cool tricks all of the time, turning water into wine, making stormy weather fine. Even now, his stunts confound us. Kinda did what Darren Brown does. Whoa, praise be to Jesus. Praise be to Magic Woody Allen Jesus. Magic Woody Allen Jesus. Jesus died, then came back to life, so the Holy Bible said, kinda like in Dawn of the Dead, or like that movie by Simon Pegg. Try that these days, you'd be in trouble. All of the geeks will try to smack you with a shovel. Oh, praise be to Jesus. Praise be to Magic Woody Allen Zombie Jesus. Magic Woody Allen Zombie Jesus. Gonna keep going. Where are we? Jesus ascended into heaven. He was an incredible guy. Don't often find fellas that fly, disappear right into the sky. But only once did he use that ability. With great power comes great responsibility. Oh, praise be to Jesus. Praise be to Magic Woody Allen Zombie Superman Jesus. Magic Woody Allen Zombie Superman Jesus. More of them. Jesus' mother gave birth to him without having sex with a dude. No, she would never be that rude, never even be in the nude with a dude. Breeding without the opposite gender is commonly known as parthenogenesis. Other animals that don't need males include a lot of lizards and various snails. Praise be to Jesus. Praise be the magic, Woody Allen, zombie, Superman, Komodo dragon, Jesus. It goes on and on. It actually goes on and on. And the last line, because you can see it's like adding a word in every time.
Yeah.
The last line is, and there's obviously explanations. I implore you to go and anyone who's watching, go and check the song out on YouTube. The last line is, praise be to Jesus. Praise be the magic, Woody Allen, zombie, Superman, Komodo dragon, telepathic vampire, quantum, hovercraft, Jesus. It's very good. Telepathic because he can speak to the dead. Hovercraft because he walked on water. Very good song.
It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, that's the writer of Groundhog Day. He's just a bright guy.
That makes me so incredibly happy. Okay, guys, we're gonna cut this in like 5 minutes. If you guys have any more questions or one, we'll take one more request because it is super late for Andy. Don't want his voice to get a little ruined. He's already getting a little coffee.
Yeah, I used to do this show called Hamel Jam, which you can still find. It was 2 hours on a Monday night, and I basically do Hamilton songs by request, and then mash it up with a theme of the week. So it might be like Michael Jackson. I'd mash up Hamilton and Michael Jackson songs, or I'd mash up. It might be like 90s boy bands night. So I'd do Hamilton songs mashed up with 90s boy bands, and I'd have people like, and I had a really, really good following, and it got kind of creepy, and I had to stop. But
Burn and I Swear would be amazing together.
I Swear.
By All for One.
That's funny. That's
the
really
song
funny.
that Ryan Reynolds sings at the end of Just Friends. We do have one. I do remember Ryan asking for Lady Madonna.
Oh yeah,
earlier.
I could see if I can do that. I wonder what I Swear chords are. But yeah, so I was doing a Broadway night on Hamel Jam. So it was like Hamilton songs, but like any songs from Broadway, just throw requests at me. So I was doing Dear Evan Hansen and Book of Mormon, all sorts of stuff. And then someone requested Movie in My Mind from Miss Saigon. And I belted it out. There's a video of it. And I hit every note. And I sang differently back then. I could actually, what I would say sing. Now I do an interpretation of what a singer could do. But basically I scratched all my vocal cords. It just like scarred them up, and I never ever recovered. So now even if I talk for a while, it starts to get like it has. And I certainly can't sing like I used to. So yeah, there's a video of me singing Movie on My Mind. It's probably the last good singing I had done.
Such a beautiful song.
Really good. I'm gonna I want to try and do it. Oh, what's the bloody chord go like? Right, okay. Maybe I am doing it in the wrong key. That doesn't seem right then. Okay. So I Swear. What would I have to do? There's something in there. I could definitely do it. I just need to find the right key.
You don't have to figure it out now. It's totally fine.
Yeah, I could definitely do it. It would be in there. But anyway, yeah, maybe I'll post it. I swear by the moon's Yeah, it would be in there. I could do it. I'm going to post it for you.
Yay! I'm so excited.
I haven't thought about putting those two songs together. the Michael Jackson mashup was unbelievable. I won't play it or remember it now, but it was dum 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 dum. Say No to This from Hamilton, mashed up with Dirty Diana, which is they're essentially the same song, and it sounded so good. There is a video of it out there somewhere.
You know, as much as I love I love the original by Michael Jackson, the cover by the Foo Fighters of Dirty Diana.
Oh, I've not heard it. Is it really cool?
Oh, it makes your nether regions tingle and jingle.
Oh, cool.
It's real good. I mean, not only maybe I don't know if it's just because I have like a massive lady boner for David Eric Grohl, because anything he does like just instantly makes me happy. He's such a great man and musician. But yeah, dude, their version of Dirty Diana is like so crunchy and dirty. It's cool. It's so good.
That I'll definitely check that out. I'm adding it to my list. Ryan just asked about Tim Minchin.
Oh yes.
Oh, Lady Madonna, yeah. What does Lady Madonna go like?
Lady.
Yeah, it's all in there, isn't it? Something like that. Yeah, I'll figure it out. I haven't played that one in forever. Yeah, the Tim Minchin comment that he wrote, oh, Tea for the Tillerman, what a fucking good song that is. Hold on, I have to. Who requested that one?
Saul did.
That's a great song. Do you know that song?
I can't recall it offhand. I guess one of those songs that, like, once it starts playing, I'm pretty sure I'll remember it.
Yeah.
But...
Bring tea for the Tillerman, steak for the sun, wine for the woman who made the rain come. Seagulls sing your hearts away, while the sinners sin, the children play.
Beautiful Cat Stevens song.
I mean, it's just a beautiful song. Anything by Cat Stevens is stunning.
Yeah.
Anna, I don't know where you are, but
she's
for the last like 5 minutes. Oh,
she's in bed.
It's your Anna. Hi,
Yeah.
Anna. I haven't met you, but I've stalked you through Andy for forever.
She obviously just woke up.
Sorry for waking you up, Anna.
Oh yeah, I might have woke her. Let me. The Tim Minchin comment about Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah.
Or did he delete it now? He might have deleted it. Oh no, there it is. Yeah.
And
so
Tim also went to the TV show to play
Tim was cast in Jesus Christ Superstar as Judas, which you could argue is the lead. But there was a TV show over here, a talent show, to find the titular character for Jesus Christ Superstar. But so whoever won that then got to start alongside Tim, but Tim was cast as Judas after meeting Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yeah, we had one of those, I think, for I can't remember who we got out of it, but they were trying to find Elle Woods for Legally Blonde, and the girl who got it ended up being so perfect.
Really?
She was so good. And then she went on to act in other stuff. I can't remember who she is or what it was, but I just remember like watching her and be like, she's perfect. Like that's Elle Woods. She's really good.
They had one for I think it was called Finding Nancy, and it was to cast Nancy and Oliver.
Oh.
And Jessie Buckley like came third or fourth, and now she's like a superstar. You know Jessie Buckley, right? She was in Chernobyl, and she's in the latest season Fargo and things like that. Yeah, she like lost that show. That's why people know her from.
Yeah, originally. She lost, but she really won. It's like
I always feel like the runner up of those shows always do better.
Yeah, they always because like I feel like they become so well known, but the winner has their career like handled like crazy and micromanaged. Yeah. Whereas like the loser of the show, like the runner up, is just as well known, but like now they get to go up and do. Yes, I'm talking about Laura Bell Bundy. Thank you. Not Lundy, but Bundy. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
dude, Laura Bell Bundy she was so funny. I actually met her when I was living in Nashville. She's so sweet. Really good show. Okay. Guys, we've been going for like 3 hours. I have to pee like a pregnant woman, so it is
That's
also
great.
like, what time is it? Is it like 9 o'clock your time? No, it's like 11, right? No,
It's
can't
20 to,
time that.
20 to 5 in the morning.
Jesus.
4:40 a.m.
Oh my God.
Just getting started, baby.
So
No, all good. That was really great fun, Rachel. Thank you
we'll get the episode
for
taken
having
down.
me on.
So before we leave, I do have one question that is from one of, if not my favorite movies, Almost Famous. It's my favorite thing to ask everybody. Do you have to be happy to write a love song? Do you have to be sad to write a sad song? What is it that you love about music?
Oh,
I know we got super deep at the end.
Blue Jean Baby. Almost Famous, right? Do you have to? No, absolutely not. I've tried to write love songs and failed, and they always come out funny, ironic.
Love can be funny and ironic.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely not. And what was the last question? What
is it that you love about music?
What is that I love about music? I love so I don't want to be too depressing. Some people take pills to make them suppressed in dynamics because they get too sad when they're sad, right? So they take antidepressants. Antidepressants don't make you happy or anything. It just narrows the dynamic that you're allowed to feel, which means you actually can't feel ecstatic either.
Yeah.
It just hinders you in there, and obviously for the good if people really do suffer when they're low. I personally love how ecstatic I get, and I do get low as well. Now Anna's awake, she'll probably tell you. I get very, very low, and I get very, very ecstatic, joyful, like a child. Sitting at the piano is what antidepressants do for people. It brings me right back here. So I can be very, very hopped up on energy and sit and play, and it mellows me out. Or if I'm really down, it brings me back up. It just finds that sweet spot. And that's why I need it. And that's why I can't do it as a living, because I would never, ever play piano all day for work and then come home and play piano. And then without that, without being centered by it at home, because I wouldn't play, what do I do? I'm lost.
Yeah,
so,
it brings you, I think somebody calls it, it brings you back to zero.
Yeah,
sure. It doesn't escalate you. It doesn't depress you. It brings you right back to a starting point. That is
exactly.
Happy. I love that. I love every person I ask, I get a very different answer. So
really
absolutely, yeah. Because music is it's such a personal thing. So like it's very like it's like staring at a painting and asking, what does that mean to you? You know, like two people are going to give you the same answer. They might be similar, but they're never going to be the same.
No, for sure.
And I love getting people's views on music and what it means to them, especially people who play like you do. So I just want to give you a massive thank you for coming on and staying up so late with me. I feel so bad. We tried to start this as early as possible, so I wasn't going to keep you up all night. Now it's fucking dawn.
No, it's all still good. No, I've had a great time. It's a really cool chat. I actually thought I'd end up playing a lot more, but the conversation's been so good.
Well, I'm not just going to be like, come on my show and play, monkey. Play.
Oh no, next time I will. I'll just do a full-on concert. But no, it was really a lot of fun. I'm really glad we did it. Good.
I'm so glad. Thank you so much. Tell the kids where they can find you and follow and support and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. So STS_Andy M is my Twitter handle or whatever. And but really go and subscribe to Matt Nost's YouTube channel to follow Settle the Score. and I'm on Mark Riley's channel every Wednesday at noon your time, I guess, for comparing notes, where we basically we pick a movie or a genre and we dissect it to pieces, and we essentially compare notes, piano notes, and his notes on story. And we have guests on every week, and that's in its infancy at the moment. And my YouTube channel, which doesn't really do much, I think I've only got like 60 subscribers because I never really put anything on there. But stories I've told tonight, like the Best Man speech stuff, are on there. Vocal performances before my voice broke 2 years ago, they're on there. So yeah, go and subscribe if you want, or check out what I used to be like.
and soon to be Burn and I Swear.
I Swear, and I Swear. But I'm gonna have to come up with a good name for that one. The portmanteau of those two. But yeah, exactly. That will be my next post.
Love it. So excited. Thank you so much. I'm going to kick you backstage. I just have like a few announcements to do, and then I'll come back and say goodbye. So everybody, bye, Andy. Thank you so much. Absolutely.
Thank you, everyone.
You. All right. So this Friday, which is technically tomorrow for us, today for Andy, at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, we are doing an earlier show for The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 4. So come join us on the Gucciverse for that. I don't have a thumbnail, but next week, keeping in the theme of the Gucciverse, I'm going to have Larry Payne as my guest next week. Next week is Thanksgiving. We don't do that. My mom and I might be drunk. You might see a video pop up in your feed. It will be a little bit later probably, but if we do it, then fucking come and hang out and watch. It'll be interesting and fun and stupid. And then starting off December will be Larry on the 3rd. At 7:30, I believe 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. It's gonna get real weird. It's gonna get real deep. It's gonna get real silly and stupid. So it's gonna be real fun. So come hang out. I'll have the December schedule posted probably within the next week. Just waiting for a few finalizations. But you guys are the best. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Have a happy Thanksgiving for all of my U.S. friends next week, and we might see you next week. Also, I have a golden day that is going to be the Sunday after Thanksgiving, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. So if you are a patron, come hang out. We've got 3 tiers. Starting next month, we're going to start a watch along on one of the tiers. It's going to be real fun. So come hang out, and love you guys. You guys are the best. I'll see you in probably a week, more than likely. Bye, guys.